Oh, baby. Is it him? Is it the man himself? The person who arrived exactly on time because he records the passage of time, not with some measly watch or computer, but rather his deluxe, limited edition, berserk, acrylic stand featuring Shirka with a clock. Is it him? I think it might be him. A new minute passes. Ding. Hey, folks. See, I have to open on the lightness because we're going to have to go into some unpleasant topics today. Not that we don't normally. I mean, we talk about like death and rape pretty much every day on stream. It's the Vosh special, okay? But we're really getting into it today. Whew, how the fuck are you people doing? Share with me. I'm looking at chat right now. Chat? Chat? I see you, Loopy Jackal. I see you, Kamiao. K-Prime. I see you, Sai. Come on, bring it in. How you doing? Share it with me. I'm still sick, by the way. So if I cough or sneeze or look a little under the weather, still a little bit sick. I'm getting better, okay? We're going to have a nice, just relaxing little stream today, okay? And it's going to make me feel better. Which we all care about, I hope. That wasn't the sickness. I just had pancakes. Oh. My back hurts. I think I pulled a muscle at work. Ziggy Zack, lay down on a flat, hard surface and do light arm movements. Like when you're doing like an angel in the snow, you know? Like this. You got to do this, okay? Help yourself out. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself, in the immortal words of that guy who did the stand-up special and is very small and Indian and was annoying on that one TV show, Recreational Parks, which was pretty good, and I have watched 2.5 times. I know his name is Aziz Ansari, you fucking idiots. You fucking dorks. You buffoons. You fucking Neanderthals. You have fallen for my trap. And I live in a country, it has a flag, there are stripes and stars, I think there's red in there somewhere. Oh, America. Oh, wow. Thank you, chat. I really appreciate you filling me in on that one. That's very much appreciated. Oh, God. Whew, let's do it. Oh, let's get right into it. Hey, do we got some chuds in YouTube chat? Oh, I know. Ooh, YouTube chat. I'm here for you today. This one's for you, okay? Let's get right into it. Now listen the fuck up. Listen the fuck up. Look at this video game. Look at this fucking video game. Why is my webcam up here? Get down. Get down there. Get down there. Nice. Look at this fucking video game. This is called Night in the Woods. Okay, listen, it's a bomb-ass video game. If you haven't played it, you should fucking play it. It's great. Anti-capitalism, anti-men, they hate men over there. Ha! Anti-white people, and very pro-Jew. Oy vey. No, it's a very good game. I really, really enjoyed it. Okay? Unfortunately, some drama has arisen concerning one of the people who was responsible for the development of this game. Now, can we raise our hands in chat? Throw up a hypers if you know who Zoe Quinn is. When I'm looking at the camera like this, I can't actually see the chat. I'm getting some mixed responses. Jesus Christ, you fucking babies. You fucking children. You fucking infants. Zoe Quinn, for those of you who don't know, was a key figure, the figure, essentially, in the Gamergate controversy of 2014 and following. Essentially, Zoe Quinn was a game developer who made a game called Depression Quest. It was a free indie game, just a little, you're a little depressed baby, and you try and do stuff, but you can't because you're depressed. Just a little indie game experience, and there's something about her like sleeping with some. I genuinely don't know, but the origins of her alleged impropriety spawned out into this glorious conspiracy theory about SJW game developers collaborating with journalists to destroy gaming for the white man. And she was they were at the center of all of it. Like Zoe was like the nugget of this. Like this was like some Jewish question level shit. It was like a Dyson sphere built around Zoe Quinn, built to absorb drama energy from their fucking I don't know, SJW vibes. It is wild how much shit has come up over it. There are people who think Zoe Quinn is like a murderer, like they've like stored bodies somewhere. There are people who think that they're in like collaboration with like a elite echelon team of top tier games journalists who are trying to turn all games into walking simulators. It's like, God, I can't catch you all up on the Gamergate shit, okay? I can't do it. I'm sorry. Listen, in 10 years, the fucking historians are gonna take note of this event. They're gonna have textbooks out in it. There are gonna be books about yay thick. Yeah, Zoe Quinn did 9/11, for example. I'm pretty sure that Zoe Quinn was responsible for the transference of funds during the Iran-Contra deal. Zoe Quinn was one of the people who brutalized the nation of Panama when Teddy Roosevelt was trying to get the canal built there to serve American imperial interests. And I'm reasonably sure that Zoe Quinn was the first person to discover one of the ways to prevent the transference of the Black Plague in the 15th century Europe, but didn't tell anyone. It's so much, okay? So let's take a step away from that legacy, and let's focus on this. Okay, yeah, Zoe Quinn was fucking throwing dead plague bodies over the walls of London trying to get that shit. Yeah, Zoe Quinn, fall of Constantinople, you know how it is. Whatever the case may be, Zoe's Quinn history as a person, more drama arose surrounding them about, 5 days ago now? Let's go over it. Now, get over there. So this is going to be a little bit long. It's also going to be a little bit gratuitous. Zoe Quinn on Twitter posted a series of screenshots from their notes application on their... wait, what type of phone has a ratio like this? What type of phone has an aspect ratio like this? This is like a water bottle aspect ratio. What? This is like a bumper sticker on its side. Like, what? I have no idea. Whatever the case, but yeah, this is like a dick ratio phone. This is like a heavy fucking piece of meat phone. I don't fucking know. iPhone XS? I don't know. Gay? Whatever the case may be, I'm going to read this out loud, okay? It's going to be a smidge long. Going to be important for what's coming up, okay? So for those of you who don't know, gets a little bit dicey. By a little bit dicey, I mean rape. So let's, okay? I want to say up front, I'm not saying this for anyone but me and the other people that I know have been hurt by him and might in the future be hurt. I read Nathalie Lawhead's post about her rapist being an industry legend who took advantage of her and poisoned her career, and it shook me to my core. Her waning health, her fear, the way she described all of it feeling like drowning, and my heart broke for her. Beyond that, I felt ashamed. So many of the little details, down to the timing, had been things I've gone through too, just a few months into my time as an indie game developer, and it's haunted me ever since. It's why I don't go to GDC anymore. I'm drowning too. A few months into making games, I was sexually assaulted. My visa status was threatened if I told anyone, and he went out of his way to tell the community that I'd been falsely accusing him of rape when I hadn't said anything to anyone, but a third party who saw it happen firsthand confronted him about it the next day. This story isn't about him. After years of therapy on himself, he reached out and apologized for everything, and I've forgiven him. But that's the background to this story. 1 month after the assault, I wanted to leave Toronto. I was scared, I couldn't sleep, and I had almost killed myself over it. I had a suicide note and everything ready to go, but I just didn't want to do that to my roommate. Enter Alec Holoka. That's an important person in this story. You're gonna need to remember that name, Alec Holoka. Enter Alec Holoka. Yeah, the one from Aquaria and Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods is that game with the cat. He was one person who I felt like in my newly chosen field had my back. He talked about how great and cheap Winnipeg was, and we flirted and talked on Skype for hours. He knew I was in an incredibly vulnerable place, and he asked me to come visit him in Winnipeg to see if I'd wanted to start an indie house there with the 3 friends I'd been talking about the idea with, and to see if the thing between us was as cool as it seemed at a distance. 2 weeks. I'd buy the plane ticket there, he'd buy my plane ticket back. He knew I couldn't afford it otherwise. So that was the deal. I wouldn't get home for a month, and only then it was because my roommate used his miles to get me out of his apartment that he had physically confined me to. While I was in Winnipeg, he slowly isolated me from everyone else in my life while absolutely degrading me whenever we were alone. He convinced me to talk the 3 friends out of getting a shared place with me there. He convinced me to let him program my game instead of the friend I had been working with, despite many protests. He screamed at me for over an hour once because of the tone in my voice when I said hello. He wouldn't let me leave the apartment without him, and refused to give me the code to get in. About the sexual assault, he blamed me. He said he was jealous of me to be wanted like that. He'd bring it up during sex, where he'd regularly be mean and violent. He told me he loved me in a way no one else would, because he could see I was terrible and he loved me anyway. When I bought it, because that's how you feel when you're recovering from being sexually assaulted. I spent a lot of that month hiding from him in the bathroom. His moods would shift and he'd throw things and hurt himself seemingly at random and blame me. He'd jam his fingers inside of me and walk me around the house by them when I told him it hurt. I was scared to leave. I was scared to tell anyone. He'd act normal when other people were around and lay into me as soon as we were alone, then apologize and say how much he needed and loved me. I even got more scared when the 2 weeks had passed and he kept putting off the agreed plane ticket home. I spent a lot of that time hiding in the bathroom from him. My roommate started to get scared and asked me if I needed help getting out. I said yes, and Alec barely looked at me as I left. When I got home, I sent a cordial and friendly breakup email. He lashed out and banned me from an indie games community he ran, banned himself, and then went to other industry legends asking them to help him kill himself because I was such a bitch. He made sure to blacklist me at important industry events. He tried to ruin a career I'd barely started. To a degree, it worked. The night GG started, that's Gamergate, I vague booked about it without specifying which ex, and 2 other women in games immediately messaged me to ask if it was Alec. He'd done similar things to them. They knew he'd been fixated on me and were also too afraid to speak up about an industry legend. It's been the better part of a decade, and I'm still afraid of him. Too afraid to speak out, especially because I've gone through so much publicly. Like, people will just roll their eyes and ignore me as if there's some karmic limit on how much bad shit can happen to someone before people stop listening. I'm afraid that people will care more about their love of Night in the Woods than they will about the safety and truth of women and non-binary people in games. I'm still afraid of him. I'm afraid of telling anyone about him. I'm afraid of how many indies have seen this behavior and given him a pass. I'm afraid of being in the same room as him because I'm afraid he'll hurt me again. I'm afraid of all the developers who watched this happen and watched him scream abuse at another woman out in front of Moscone during GDC. But being silent for years has been worse than the fear. I skipped the last 2 GDCs because I couldn't risk being around him or seeing everything clap for him on stage, especially not people I knew. I don't wish any ill will on anyone. I know Alec is likely not well, and I will always believe in rehabilitation over punishment. I don't want anything bad to come of this to his collaborators who may not know any of this. but I've watched enough of the big names in the indie community to know about him. So much so that the reaction to his first meltdown about me was, "Oh, well, that's Alex. What can you do, Alec?" And I've seen enough to know nothing's going to happen about this particular broken stare unless somebody says something. But we're all scared. I'm scared. A big childish part of me has been hoping people would somehow start caring or figure it out on their own. But feeling like a coward in the face of Nathalie's strength, because like I have nothing to hide from my own, or feeling like I have nothing to hide from my own life because it's not safe and I can't tell anyone why I'm hiding, of knowing I wasn't the first or last, of drowning, that's too much to keep carrying with me. I just want the other boot to drop so I can breathe again. I don't want another new dev to get hurt and hear that same, "Oh, that's just how he is," after the fact that I did. I just want to breathe again. So, that was Zoe Quinn's accusation. Zoe Quinn, to summarize everything, accused Alec Holoka, one of the developers of Night in the Woods, of essentially trapping her in an apartment, trapping them in an apartment for a month and sexually abusing them during that time, then blacklisting them from industry events afterwards, threatening suicide, blah, 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 classic abusive behavior. Listen, if you've ever dealt with an abusive partner or had a friend who's dealt with an abusive partner, all of this rings familiar to you, okay? This is very classic abusive behavior. None of this is out of the realm of like reasonable possibility. All of this is very much par for course. So, how do we react to this? Well, listen, we've got two actors in here, okay? You've got Zoe Quinn, the subject of more drama than perhaps any other human since Jesus Christ. And you've got Alec Holoka, somebody who up until this drama was disregarded as an effete, flighty SJW video game developer, largely ignored and degraded by the same sort of people who were abusing Zoe Quinn. So, the question then, do they hate Zoe Quinn more than they hate pretending to care about SJW game developers? Well, here's a news article. Night in the Woods developer Alec Holoka dies. Few days after Zoe Quinn's accusation, Holoka killed himself. I think he shot himself in the head. I just heard that as a rumor. I don't actually know. Maybe he took pills. Who the fuck knows? Doesn't really matter. Whatever the case may be, up and killed himself. Now, following his suicide, his sister wrote out on this. His sister, Alec Holoka's sister, Eileen Holoka, you see they have the same last name, that's how you know they're related, it's narratively convenient, wrote out about him. While writing out about him, here's what she said. And in case it's not already fucking obvious, Alec specifically said he wished the best for Zoe and everyone else, so don't use our grief as an excuse to harass people. Go outside, take care of someone, and work towards preventing these kinds of things in the first place. Alec Holoka's sister said she believed Zoe Quinn. Alec Holoka's sister said that she and Alec both said they wanted no harm to come from to Zoe from this. Alec Holoka's sister has since had to lock her Twitter account after being deluged from abuse from people who hate Zoe Quinn, accusing Alec Holoka's sister of being complicit in Alec's suicide for not having his back. This is Scott Benson. Scott Benson, right here, see, these are words Scott Benson typed, was the other developer of Night in the Woods. Scott Benson, Alec Holoka, together, friends. Not really, actually. This is a 26-minute read. It's an article that he put out on Medium. Fantastic read. I'd recommend all of you take a look at it. I noticed, by the way, that the other people who are covering this drama, the usual actors, the Quartering and Geeks and Gamers and what have you, they're not really talking much about this article. They're not actually reading out the contents of Zoe Quinn's accusation either. I wonder why that is. Link it? Yeah, sure. Here. There you go. Look at that. Scott Benson is, to my mind, by the way, more responsible for how Night in the Woods is today than Alec Holoka is. Not that that's really relevant to this issue, but for anyone who's interested in sort of the pedigree of Night in the Woods, Scott Benson is the person you should be looking at. Anyway, Scott Benson also made Night in the Woods. This is a 26-minute read. I'm not going to read it out loud for you. Instead, I'm going to summarize it for you. Alec Holoka was, from the testimony of Scott Benson, somebody who worked with Alec for years, every bit as abusive as Zoe Quinn described. Scott Benson currently has PTSD and is seeing a therapist following his experiences with Alec Holoka. Scott Benson believes Zoe Quinn. Scott Benson says that Zoe Quinn is not at fault for Alec's suicide. And furthermore, Scott Benson says that in his limited contact with Alec Holoka, they lived in different countries, the picture that was painted of Alec's engagements with his friend circles and with the women he would date was every bit as bad, if not worse, than what was described by Zoe Quinn. That it is very likely, in fact, that Alec Holoka has left in his wake a path of tens or dozens of people who are broken and abused and in other ways made vulnerable by his habitual treatment of women. It's a great read. You really should go over it. Scott Benson, this article, this excellent character testimony on Alec, and this filling in of the issue, to my knowledge, has not been gone over by any of the people who are currently drama hounding, who are currently grifting, making video after video on how Zoe Quinn is a murderer. They have, however, called Scott Benson complicit in Alec's suicide, for not having his friends back. The reason why they say this is because Scott Benson, after realizing or after hearing about Zoe Quinn's accusations, distanced himself and the project team that had worked on Night in the Woods from Alec Holoka, which is reasonable to me. They say that's being fired. There was no company, so it's not being fired. To voluntarily distance oneself from somebody who is accused and substantially accused of serial sexual abuse, I think is a reasonable, personal decision. But I don't know. I don't like sexual abuse. Maybe that's just a sort of a personal preference on my part. Anyway, Scott Benson has been suffused with abuse following this, because he is now complicit in working with Zoe Quinn to, cancel culture Alec Holoka into suicide. So that's cool. It should be noted, by the way, though there are fewer articles about any individual number of them, that since Zoe Quinn put out their accusation, Zoe Quinn has their allegations have been substantiated by quite a few other women, some named, some who have preferred to remain anonymous, who've said they too were victimized by Alec Holoka. Scott Benson has said it was knowledge amongst some people in the gaming industry that if you were a woman, you should never be in a room alone with Alec Holoka. So what do we get from all this? So Zoe Quinn has locked their Twitter to prevent abuse. Alec Holoka's sister has locked her Twitter to prevent abuse. Scott Benson has not locked his Twitter, but has nonetheless been suffused with abuse. A number of the people who have substantiated Zoe Quinn's allegations and added their own voices to the pile have had to lock their Twitters or have just been suffused with abuse. Where are we getting all this? So this is quite a bit. Where are we getting all this from? Well, what we're looking at right now is the legacy of Gamergate, essentially, because none of this would be covered in the way that it is right now if Zoe Quinn was not the headline attraction to this accusation. It's unfortunate, actually, in a just a consequentialist sort of way, that the accusation against Alec Kaloka had to stem from somebody who had such a dicey, reputation to begin with. An undeserved dicey reputation, mind you, but dicey nonetheless. So where does Gamergate come into this? I found this article from medium.com. I haven't read it, but I brought it up because I like that it has the pictures of some of the people responsible for this, and they look kind of bad in the picture, see? So that's how I know that this article agrees with me, because the people here look dumb and bad. You see? Look at this guy on the left. His hat says deadbeat. Damn, how apropos. The guy at the center right here is the Quartering, who is perhaps the biggest spineless dipshit to have ever graced the sort of post-Gamergate games drama scene. He is, in my mind, worse than Keemstar. He is a genuinely subhuman piece of shit. He's streaming right now, complaining about people who complain about him. We can go take a look at his YouTube channel. Actually, I think that'd be a lot of fun. In Destiny's community, Destiny the streamer, they call him the Quivering, because after a phenomenally dumb take, Destiny brought him on and he backtracked on literally everything he said. It was some dumb take about like SJWs on the working in Apex Legends because there was an agender robot or something. It was some phenomenally dumb take. It was like, holy shit. And he went on Destiny's stream and he just walked back like every single fucking time. Quarter Pounder said he'd be debating anyone today. Talk to the cunt. Can't. I'm banned from Twitch, and he's streaming on Twitch. He wants to talk to me, he can talk to me. He may have more YouTube subs than me, but I consider this guy's like genuinely subhuman. Like, I have nothing to say to him. He'll just walk back on everything that he's said. So let's see. So here's a video he put out. Zoe Quinn gets video game dev fired and project canceled for a tweet. You can see from the thumbnail, here's Zoe Quinn with scary eyes, you see? Grr, cancel culture. Speaking up about people who sexually abuse you. Grr. And Alex chilling prediction in 2016 and Zoe hiding her money, part 3. I don't know. There's Anita Sarkeesian here, somebody who hasn't been relevant to anyone but like loser, grifter, ex-Gamergaters for the past 4 years. So I don't know what the fuck this is about. That's cool. Zoe Quinn returns posts, odd message, and vengeance plan surfaces. I'm back. Creepy old messages wanting vengeance. Take them down and bury them. Do you know what the Quartering's videos remind me of? They remind me a lot of the National Enquirer. That's what they remind me of. The hyper-sensationalization built around a particular political agenda, they really do. They're very, very similar. Isn't he a fascist? I mean, if he had a spine, he would be a fascist. Yeah. Also, fascists are occasionally like intelligent enough to meaningfully advocate for a coherent political philosophy. But the Quarter Pounder is like legit, like sub-fridge temp IQ. It's like the National Enquirer right there. What the Quartering does is he finds news articles or anything that's happened. He puts out like 3-4 videos a day, and all of them are the same. He'll be like me. See, look, I'm a little corner square down here. You see, he'll record this off stream, and he's a little square down here, and he'll read an article out loud. Right here. The article will be here. He'll read it out loud, and then every once in a while he'll add in his little snippets, which will usually be that SJWs or cancel culture is ruining gaming, or the feminazis, or blah, blah, blah. The exact same thing. It's the same thing. He does this all the time. And he'll read it and he'll put his own little spin. And then in the sort of supplementary, like the thumbnail or the description, he'll talk about, Zoe Quinn, the murderer, or they'll sensationalize with the cutesy title cards and the narrative sort of played up. But then when called to account for any of the phenomenally dumb shit he says, he walks it all back because it's indefensible. It's just drama farming for drama farming. Here, I mean, a great example right here. I refuse to buy Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, and you should too. Do you know what that thumbnail is? Do you know what that thumbnail is right there? I retweeted it on Twitter, so we don't have to look at the shitty YouTube thumbnail. New video, a stand against... Oh, now we've got a gecko in the way. Bitch, please. New video, a stand against bullshit censorship. Final Fantasy VIII Remaster has delivered a new wave of BS censorship that loser SJW seem to be celebrating. Stop letting people gaslight you over censorship. Death by 1,000 cuts is real and it must stop. And here's the picture you see. In the original, here I'll get rid of my cam so we can really take a look, really seep this censorship in. In the original, this harpy, I assume, has like a muff thing. But in the PS4 remaster, she's wearing a very short skirt. Can you feel the censorship? This bullshit has to stop. Remember what they took from us. Boop. And he also types out every word with like a capital letter. Like, the problem with making fun of the quartering is that it's not actually possible because he like blurs the line between satire and reality. He is truly phenomenally beyond reproach because everything he does is so incalculably stupid that it falls below the base thresh line of like coherence necessary to form a cogent argument against it. But that's okay. Give us back that coochie. Do you think the quartering knows that if you type in harpy coochie on ehentai, you can find lots of harpy coochie? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know. I don't know. Anyway, let's get really to the meat of this. So do you see these big three deuterinos? There are a lot of people who are very upset with Zoe Quinn. We can actually find them really quick. Oh, let's go on YouTube really quick. It's not just the quartering. Watch this. Zoe Quinn. Murderer. Zoe Quinn body count. Zoe Quinn confesses. This is the number one thing that comes up. Zoe Quinn murderer. Murderer. For accusing a man of abusing them sexually 9 years ago in a Twitter post. Let's see what we get if we... Let's see. Let's filter it. Past week, obviously, because that's when this happened. Famous fraud Zoe Quinn, the bloody cost of professional victimhood. Zoe Quinn lies, a man dies. Zoe Quinn just showed us everything wrong with cancel culture. Zoe Quinn vanishes after man she accused killed himself. They seem to keep using these pictures from the same like photo shoot because they look like menacing here, I guess. Ooh, look at this fella.
My name is Rag.
Body shaming is wrong. We're going on a different path. Cancel culture is cancer, and it has killed someone. The blood on Zoe Quinn's hands. Cancel culture led to ending his life. Alec Holoca's sister, critical of him, but not Zoe Quinn. Cancel culture has killed a man. Zoe Quinn is a liar. Look, they keep using the same fucking picture. Zoe Quinn caused a man's death. Zoe Quinn got it there to kill himself. Ah! Ah! It keeps going. Twitter. Quinn body count. Oh shit. The Quinn body count rises. These people are fucking insane. So right now there is a fucking legion of angry sexless men. Like, let's be real. Come on. Like let's be, guys, let's be fucking real. Angry sexless men, mostly white, who are furious at Zoe Quinn for cancel culturing a man to death, who are furious at Alec Holoca's sister for standing up for Zoe Quinn rather than Alec. Still sick, what are you gonna do? Who are furious at Scott Benson for his op editorial, who are just mad. Let's talk about this. Watch me blow through these arguments. I'm just gonna fucking, You want to talk about abuse? Watch what I do to these fucking arguments. All right, let's go over it one by one. Now, all of the arguments in response to Zoe Quinn's behavior here read like a laundry list of the toxic shit that people say after they've come out about somebody else abusing them. Let's go over this. Why didn't Zoe Quinn go to the police? Because what happened to them took place between two different countries 8 years ago that can't be substantiated with any empirical evidence. Anything that they chose to go to the police about would require the exact same kind of testimony and allegorical evidence that was provided in the Twitter screenshots that they put out on Twitter. What's more, there are myriad reasons why a victim of sexual abuse may not want to subject themselves to the criminal justice process. And even if they did do that, they would put the exact same kind of testimonies out, the affidavits, everything that they have already done. In fact, those would probably be even more substantiated because other people would be called in as character experts, witnesses, testimony, what have you. So if you're arguing that there would be some better outcome to this if they had instead decided to go to the police, A, no, there wouldn't have. It would have been worse for Alec. B, no, abuse survivors are totally, absolutely 100% A-okay with speaking out about their abuse 8 years after the fact. I'm sorry, I thought we were pro freedom of speech here. I didn't realize that when it came to accusing other people of bad things that they've done, you had to go through the police, that you weren't morally allowed to make those accusations on your own. No. This is indefensible. And by the way, for those people who are making those arguments, you are making a presumption of Zoe Quinn's guilt about their presumed dishonesty here, and you are making accusations against them. There's literally a Twitter hashtag Zoe Quinn body count. Zoe Quinn murderer is the first thing that follows up if you type Zoe Quinn into YouTube. Why don't you go to the police? I'm sorry. Zoe Quinn's been committing murders? That's a serious crime. You should go to the police about it rather than making, false allegations over Twitter and YouTube and stuff. Have you considered that? Other fucking arguments, okay? What happened to them wasn't actually abuse. We have no way of parsing out the empirical data and what happened. This happened 8 years ago. However, in regards to reasonable assessment of testimony provided, if you have a situation in which the person who allegedly committed the abuse denies nothing, Alec denied nothing before his suicide, the person who made the initial accusation was specific in their claims, and it corresponds to other people's understandings of the event and time frame that took place. Zoe Quinn's roommate can testify to this having happened at the time. If that accusation is then substantiated by a bunch of other people coming up and saying other shit that is comparable and fits within the time scale that is made clear by other people, and the code developer of all of this says that they too, and their experiences with Alec Holokov, not only completely believe the allegations, but believe there are many, many, many more people who've been victimized to this extent that haven't been able to speak up, and you have Alec Holokov's sister agreeing with the accuser, saying that this fits within his behavior and that, she 100% believes Zoe Quinn, and you have Alec Holokov himself saying not only Zoe Quinn, not saying that Zoe Quinn was wrong, but also saying that he wants no harm to come to her. I'm sorry. Listen up, buddy. Hey, we got the justice system over here. You got to prove your guilt, jury of 12, okay? That is not how belief and accusations work in the real world, okay? Listen the fuck up. When someone comes up to me and they say, hey, could you spare me $1? I really want a snack. I was going to go get a snack. I lost my $1. They do not need to provide to me evidence which would satisfy a court of 12 peers. When somebody comes up to me and they say, hey, why are you hanging out with that dude, Reno? He's kind of a fucking dick. He called me a cunt behind my back one time, and when I went up to him and confronted him on it, he said that I was a lying bitch. I don't need to go and look at them and say, hey, without character testimonies from at least 4 other people present at that event, and a written testimony from the person accused, and empirical evidence to suggest that both of you don't have another alias at the time or an alibi, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go with an impartial decision on this one. No, because our ability to assess people's guilt or innocence in a de facto non-legal sense is very different from the expectations that we set within the confines of an American courthouse. I live in America. If you live in some shit country, I'm sorry. Then I don't know how the fuck your justice system works. Thirsty. At the end of the day, there's really like no argument here. There really is no argument. To people who think this is cancel culture, the fuck is it cancel culture? Zoe Quinn said they wanted what's best for Alec Loca. Cancel culture to accuse someone of sexually abusing you? I'm sorry, listen. I like it when words have definitions. I thought cancel culture was when someone does something like comparatively minor, but then you distance yourself from them because they're not morally pure enough. I didn't realize that prolonged habitual predatory sexual abuse of multiple people, that distancing yourself from that person or that accusing them of doing that was cancel culture. Cancel culture refers to a community distancing yourself from a person over something they've done that doesn't fit a purity test. This is just one person accusing Alec Loca of having sexually abused them and then that being substantiated with literally every other fucking person. What? How the fuck is that cancel culture? That's not cancel culture by definition. You're just angry at Zoe Quinn. You're just fucking angry. You're mad at Zoe Quinn. They've triggered you. You're quivering right now. You're fucking fury in here. Your heart, your fucking Kokoro is going doki doki with rage. They can't keep getting away with it. Meanwhile, Zoe Quinn is like just trying to fucking live. Have you ever heard the term rape culture? Maybe some of you have. Maybe some of you haven't. A lot of you have thought, oh, that's rape culture. What? Rape's illegal. What is rape culture? Let me show you, or I can tell you actually, what rape culture is. Rape culture is when you live in a society or an environment. We live in a society. You know how it is. It's when you live in an environment of some kind where someone can rape you repeatedly and trap you in their house for a month. And then afterwards, they can call you a lying cunt, distance themselves from you, threaten to commit suicide if you tell anyone else, blacklist you from industry events. And then 8 years later, when you finally come out about what happened, even though your claims are substantiated and bolstered by the sister of the accused, the business partner of the accused, numerous other women and industry professionals, and are not met with a denial by the person you've accused yourself, but rather with a well wish. Alec Loca said he wants no harm to come to Zoe Quinn before he offed himself. That people will still call you a lying cunt, that people will still call you a murderer, that people will still say that you have to go to the police or your accusations aren't valid, who will throw out a myriad hypocritical accusations that are absolutely indefensible in a direct argument, completely indefensible, but they throw them out because they're so fucking mad. They're so fucking mad. Thousands of people. That's rape culture right there. That's a little fucking weird, don't you think? I think a little smidge weird. Just maybe a little bit that all this is going down this way. If you think this is a thing, listen, I know maybe some of you Gamergate poisoned, you're super triggered because Zoe Quinn did a Kickstarter and stole everything and fucked every game dev into making every game a walking simulator. I don't fucking know what's going on with you, okay? Hey. Calm the fuck down. You don't like rape, do you? I hope not. Maybe some of you do. If you don't like rape, then you should be in favor of people speaking up about experiences where they've been raped. But cancel culture. But you false allegations. Hey, I know. We shouldn't just take allegations at their word. But when allegations are substantiated, probably more substantially than any other rape allegation I have ever seen come forward in a social space. I'm not joking, guys. I've never seen anything as fucking rock solid as the Zoe Quinn shit. Can you think of another? The accused sister, the accused business partner over a period of years, and dozens of other people? I honestly can't think of anything more substantiated than this. This is about as solid. This is about as airtight as you can get, you know? And if you have a problem with this, with highly substantiated, bulletproof, airtight, multifaceted accusations of systemic wrongdoing, then what you're essentially saying is you're just kind of fine with people getting raped. Because no one could pass the bar that you've set. No one could. Unless they go through the court system. Which has historically been a brutal, expensive, and unforgiving process for survivors of sexual abuse. And which would, by the way, lead to the exact same kind of public scrutiny that has come about through Zoe Quinn's Twitter allegations. But if you think that, like, you should only ever be able to accuse people of sexual assault after winning a court case, I mean, I don't know, like, if you just have a problem with free speech or anything, but, like, personally, I think the world's a better place where we can make accusations against bad people without a fucking judge standing behind us with a little thumbs up telling us, it's okay. You can say this. And let's be real, by the way, even if all of this had been quietly going on in a court case and the allegations had, like, broke with the guilty verdict or something, like, be fucking real. You would react the exact same fucking way. Don't fucking... What happened with Alec Kaloka is unfortunate. It seemed like Alec Kaloka, I mean, this is true. Alec Kaloka has long-time issues with mood disorder, mental illness, suicidal ideation. It is unfortunate. It's also unfortunate that he sexually abused a lot of people and left, like, a massive body count in his wake of abused, traumatic, miserable human beings. Life sucks, but you can make it a little bit better by not being a dumb fuck and dumping on people who have been, like, habitually abused. You can make it just a little better. And if you disagree with that, if you think, oh, whatever, cancel culture, oh, you think you should just believe all women, well, no. The problem isn't that I'm setting the bar too low, it's that you're deliberately setting the bar too high in this particular instance because your emotional preconceptions about Zoe Quinn are blinding your ability to think about the situation rationally. And I encourage you, I implore you, facts over feels. Still sick. And in regards to people like the Quivering, I was watching one of his videos on this, and there was a particular segment that struck me. This is the Quivering, the most recent video. So this came out, what, 6 seconds ago?
Much in the same way that his former boss contributed to it. Do I think that they are...
Remember, that would be Scott Benson, the person who just didn't want to associate with the serial sexual abuser. Listen to this. This is really good, by the way. This is some key irony.
Are both bad people, more concerned with Twitter followers and likes and retweets than caring for their friend or just being the bigger person, which I think is something that is forgotten here in this culture that has been cultivated mostly by video games journalists, video games personalities.
I agree, the Quivering. I agree. One of the biggest issues here are people who are more concerned with Twitter followings, with clout, with YouTube views and subs, who have already, in less than a week, made 3 clickbait videos on this subject, making baseless, unsubstantiated accusations, following through in a years-long ex-Gamergate grift. I agree. Those grifters should really take a look at themselves, because they clearly don't care about seeing this through to a better end. Damn, got it in one take. How the fuck are we doing, guys? Let's check YouTube chat. I love YouTube chat. Is YouTube chat angry? Yup, YouTube chat's angry. Hey, listen. Don't mind me. How the fuck you doing, guys? Let's take a peep. Go see a doctor? That cough sounds bad? You fucking bitch. Just some phlegm in my throat. I'll be fine. Somebody just gave me a lot of money, and I'm going to address that in just a second. Hey, YouTube chat. YouTube chat. How are you doing? What's up? Are there any people in here who want to discuss this with me? I see some angry, angry people here in YouTube chat. You know, you can talk with me. See, I'm very open. I love discourse. You can talk with me. All you have to do is head on up to my Discord. If you go to vosh.gg, the actual website that real Vosh fans use, then you'll find there's a Discord link up at the top. You can hop on in, go into the Stream Collins channel, and I would love to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to talk to you. You've got some great opinions, don't you? On Zoe Quinn and stuff. I want to hear from them. Share them with me. I'm very interested. Now, while you settle yourself out with that, let me look at donations, which I suppose I'll start with the enormous donation of 100 euros from Mr. Fridge. Just wanted to say I think you're doing good work. I saw your video on an AMA you recently participated in. I think your perspective is really good and definitely attracts a different demographic to leftist politics, which I think is important. Trans rights. Mr. Fridge with the 100 fake dollars. Damn! Thank you so goddamn much, comrade. That is unbelievably generous of you. I'm really glad you enjoyed the AMA that I did the other day. I did that desperately ill. And I had no idea it was predominantly fascist Discord. It was a wild time. I'm really glad that you took something from it. I felt a little while afterwards like I had gotten nothing out of that, but it was a lot of fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I really, really appreciate the donation. I'm gonna keep trying to be a slightly different leftist. Apparently, there's ContraPoints drama. Hold up. Oh boy. Oh boy. What the fuck happened? Uh... Hey, Mozart boy. Look in Vanguard for the comment screenshot. I saw that comment. I wonder if she just deleted her Discord. Not Discord. I wonder if she just deleted her Twitter because so many people were being so uncharitable to her. Hey, look, it's me. Y'all ready to trash on Contra anytime she voices an opinion you don't 100% agree with, but you still follow Vosh and listen to Chapo? I don't think many people who follow me trash on ContraPoints, but okay. Your trans misogyny is showing. She claimed about the gender mentioning thing, transless. Huh. Yeah, people were being like crazy uncharitable to her. Like wildly fucking uncharitable to ContraPoints. That's unfortunate. Damn, she just followed me too. She just refollowed me after the Thought Slime drama meant she unfollowed me. Fuck me. Ah, well. What are you gonna do? Click? What are we getting on here? I'm friends with a lot of Gen Z trans people, and I'm often grouped in with them because I'm very online. I transitioned not that long ago, but my experience is very different. I'm not a Vanguard Zoomer tran. I sometimes feel like one of the last of the old school transsexuals. But now you go into these leftist Discord faces groups, like 20 or 30% identify as some flavor of trans. Most of them are not conventional binary transsexuals. That seems to be the future. What's wrong with these statements? These are fine. I agree with it. If you guys think that how trans people are today is how trans people were 10 years ago, then you're fucking delusional. Trans people 10 years ago, like for the most part, binary, quiet, don't want to be recognized, want to be left alone. Trans people today, at least in progressive leftist spaces, much more open, much louder, trend more towards non-binary presentations. This is just like a fucking fact. You're delusional if you think otherwise. People are like fucking lunatics when it comes to ContraPoints. Holy shit. Hey, listen, this is a ContraPoints stand stream, okay? This is some dumbass bullshit. ContraPoints, I've seen a lot of people to say like, oh, ContraPoints hates non-binary people. ContraPoints thinks that, like, now shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. I've seen every take ContraPoints has ever been putting out on Twitter. Every single one of them. None of them are anywhere near as bad as people make them out to be. A lot of people just like to cancel ContraPoints because she's like the representative of trans people on YouTube, so if you cancel her, you get to be more woke than her. It's really that simple. It's fucking disgusting. Fuck these people. NB-phobic. This is, by the way, these are the same people that I complain about. ContraPoints is more woke than like 99.8% of Americans, but she's still not woke enough for these people. Not these people. The people in the Twitter seem to be reasonable. But for like the hyper on, but I'm serious though. These people are like cannot be reached. The hyper online NB people with the fucking catgirl avies with the trans flag behind, whose sole existence is dedicated to woke sculling people who aren't as cool and woke and like super emotionally, morally top tier as them. These people tend to be very young. Their entire identity is built around their being trans or being queer or whatever. These people are not pleasable. They're simply not. They're the most unscrupulous, backstabbing little cunts you will ever associate with. Partly because they're all mentally ill. I'm sorry. Fuck you. And partly because they tend to be young. And partly because as a product of them being victimized by society, which they are. Yeah, don't yikes me, guys. I'm mentally... Don't say that, Vosh. I'm sorry. I'm mentally ill. ADHD, fucking bipolar disorder, autism, manic depression. Nah, I can say it. I'm using my A card. I'm using my autism privilege right now. We're zooming it into top gear. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, no. A lot of these people are mentally ill. They do struggle with a lot of mood disorders, okay? I'm sorry. I've been online for a decent length of time. I've seen these communities. I know how they can be. I'm gonna talk to you. Hey, fucking Contra, anti-Contra, NB, whatever. I've seen Contra's takes on Twitter. I've also seen how other people mischaracterize them. The fuck is wrong with you? Hey, why the fuck are you canceling people who are more woke than like not just the vast majority of people right now, like the vast majority. If you want to take if you put Contra in a group of people, Contra is going to be, just statistically speaking, going to be more woke than a group of 10, group of 100, group of You need to put her in like Times Square before you're likely to start finding people who are more aware of these social issues than she is, who are more woke, who are more like substantiated, who are more capable of advocating for like trans or non-binary ideology. And that's still not good enough for you. I've seen people be like, she can't keep getting away with it. She can't keep canceling non-binary people. And I've seen her take, she's not fucking canceling non-binary people. She just says that different marginalized communities sometimes have different material interests, and that sometimes their interests slightly contradict one another, so sometimes that's an issue that needs to be mitigated through those communities, that needs to be discussed. That's literally all she says. That's all she said. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm talking to you. Hey, listen. If you're 17, if you got a mood disorder, if you're trans as hell, if you use Discord too much, if you're horny on main, and if you hate ContraPoints, listen to me, a cisgender white dude, okay? Shut the fuck up. Just stop doing it. We get it. You're the wokest little wokelet. You're so woke. You're so big brain. You're so moral. It's fucking crazy how moral you are. I'm proud of you. Keep it up. Maybe in 5 years you'll be useful to anyone other than yourself. But for right now, you're not. You're a little fucking zygote, okay? Shut up. You're not helping anyone. Please, God. To be an effective advocate for marginalized communities, it is not enough to be super woke, super big brain. It's not enough. It's not enough to be hyper pure, to be the purest little egg. It's not enough. You also have to be good at advocating for and defending your positions. You, woke on your own, wouldn't last a fucking second in fucking rural Missouri. Okay? Little woke you think you're going to make a difference in those communities? Do you think the vast majority of the world is in any way receptive to your little woke vibes? Listen. Optics, presentation, delivery, and rhetoric, these things matter. And ContraPoints has, in her time on YouTube, done infinitely more to advocate for the well-being, health, what have you, of trans people than all of you put together. I would put you in the negatives. If here's neutral, okay? Listen, right here, this is neutral, okay? This is a baby that's just been born. They've done nothing for or against trans and non-binary people, okay? Here's Contra. Nearly 500,000 YouTube subs, massive public figure, got an op-eds posted in the New York Times, famously known as a de-radicalizer, largest trans figure known online with the exception of like fucking Blair White maybe. There's Contra. Can you see? Up there, it's my ceiling. Up there, you see? Now here's Zero again. Here's you. 'Cause, you haven't really done anything good, maybe except for retweeting more woke scolds like you, but you have contributed to the systemic dismantling, the constant infighting of leftist progressive communities. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like getting fucking Contra. I'm sorry, Contra's doing more shit than you. Why the fuck are you doing this? If you want to push people to be woker, here's what you need to do. I'm giving you the hint. I'm showing you. Watch. Wow. You're getting it from me, friend. Are you ready to learn? This is Vash's 101 on how to make the world a woker place. Take it from me. I'm a cis white dude. I used to be a libertarian. Free market will decide. And from then, I have gone to being a fucking anarchist. Pretty good one at that. Big brain. Big, look at my head. There's so much room in here for brains. Lesson 1. Shut up unless you are meaningfully improving discourse. You can do that by recognizing that when you are a hyper pure woke scold whose entire life is dedicated to your identity as like a super woke queer trans person or whatever, nobody is going to listen to you except for other people like you. Nobody else is going to listen to you. You're not going to convince reactionaries like that. You're not going to convince centrists. You're not even going to convince most left-leaning people like that. You're going to convince people within your own community. And you're going to make life unbearable for people who advocate for your interests, but don't believe that you can end the bar at being incessantly pure. I don't know if you've noticed, but your particular brand of purity isn't really a hot commodity amongst most people. Most people want to listen to the spicy gamer bro takes. Most people want to listen to ContraPoints sitting on a couch in lingerie rambling about incels. People like the delivery. People like the fiery takes. People like the ability to engage with people's mind states. People like that willingness to dive into how other people think, pull out the bad thoughts, and offer some good ones. Characteristics of a good rhetorician. Important skills. Coughing, not so much. Click the link, it helps your point. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, don't worry about that, though. Let's not worry about that. Your brand of woke, it doesn't sell that well. ContraPoint sells well, and you have to sell progressivism. You can't just be woke. You have to make other people woke. You're not making other people woke. You're making other people miserable, and you're jerking yourself off with your little fucking Discord squad buddies of other people who make other people miserable. If you want to make the world a better place, stop framing that as a quest to be the wokest, big-brainest, most progressivist, sensitivist person, and start framing it as a consequentialist journey to meaningfully affect discourse, to develop rhetoric, to get better at how you affect your points. And hey, if you've got a problem with people like Contra, or people like me, fucking jerking yourself raw. ContraPoints hates non-binary people. She can't keep invalidating their experiences by sharing her own. Maybe instead of doing that, maybe just take a step back. Think to yourself. ContraPoints affects rhetoric in this way. In what way could she improve it while holding true to the means by which she's been advocating for the rights of trans people and such up till this point? Type a little thread out to yourself. You can write it down in your little notes application on your phone. Take a deep breath, just... And then once you have your thoughts clear, you can go on Discord and share it with your friends. You can make a YouTube channel. You can message moderators. You can tweet it out. But for God's sake, stop with the fucking... This person has done something to indicate that they're not 100% on brand with my woke shit. This person hates non-binary. This person's trans-misogynistic. This person needs to be canceled. This person's a piece of shit. Let's harangue the fuck out of them until they delete their Twitter account. Please shut the fuck up. It's fucking wild to me. There are literal Nazis on Twitter. Literal Nazis on Twitter with more Twitter followers than ContraPoints. And instead of doing anything about that, instead of dedicating any of your energy to the people who literally want you fucking dead, you're woke scolding the biggest representative, the best representative of trans rights on the largest social media platform on the history of the world. That's what you're doing with your time. Shut up. Do better. You're hurting trans people. Not just Contra, but yourself, too. You think the world would be a better place if you successfully woke scold all of your advocates into the fucking dirt? Who do you think will be left? I think even Destiny does way more good than these woke scolding woke-toids. Absolutely. Destiny does infinitely more. Are you fucking kidding me? Shut up. Okay, serious. Shut the fuck up, okay? You're making the world a worse place. I'm not kidding, okay? Woke scolding doesn't help. You're making the world a worse place. Shut the fuck up. I say this as somebody who's perpetually fucking woke scolded, okay? Trust me, every single time I see one of you dumb cunts rambling about me on Twitter about how I'm a trans misogynistic person who wants to murder all trans people because one time I lost a debate to them and I'm actually a serial rapist, I get a little more reactionary every time. You're doing it. You're going to push me. I'm going to fucking do it. The gun to my head actually represents me actually hating trans people. You're going to do it. 1,179 more tweets. That's my threshold. If I see 1,179 more tweets accusing me of being a transphobe, I'm going to become transphobic. I'm going to do it to hurt you. That's the threat. I'm counting. Not really, of course. I love you guys. All right, oh god. This is so fucking stupid. Now people are trying to cancel Peter Coffin for defending Contra. I've been talking about this for months. These people are cancer. Nobody listens to me because I get so angry when I talk about it. I become incoherent. Let me angrily tweet about this. Yo.
Please don't.
Wait, it's good.
Okay, at least don't call people like mentally ill 17-year-olds.
Did you think that was what I was going to tweet?
Yes.
I need to start locking the door. You're annoying.
Dude, you're mean. What do you want?
Get out of here. Wait, do you disagree with my fucking rant?
No, I agree with your take. I just think you need to be careful on Twitter.
I'm so careful.
You are not.
I'm
You're
so
dumb.
careful on
You're
Twitter.
dumb.
I'm so careful
You're
on
dumb.
Twitter. Get out of here. Close the
Dumb.
door. Get out.
Dumb.
Get out. Or poke a booby through the door.
Dumb.
Booby.
No booby.
No booby?
You're a dumb boy.
You're not even going to boob?
No.
Fucking femoids, dude. There we go. A measured tweet. Did Vosh just tits or GTFO hyena? Cancel Vosh? Dude, my girl has fucking huge tits. Like, listen. From each according to their ability to each according to their need. Okay? And you know what my GF has? You know what my GF has an ability to have? Fucking big meaty boobers. What she's got. Can I go over donations? The Contra drama. Alright, what was I doing? What are we doing? Can we fucking focus? Weren't there people I was supposed to talk to? Okay, nobody's waiting on me. Good. That's good. No sexism, please. It's not. God, listen. If you've been partners with somebody for long enough, eventually, The casual dehumanization is just part of a joke. She does the exact same thing with my big floppy dick. Just fucking don't worry about it, okay? Can we the demons in YouTube chat aren't going to talk to you? Probably for the best. Their positions are indefensible. Anyone who unironically believes that like this is Zoe Quinn like murdering again, like just fucking kill themselves. It's not possible to defend that take. Hold on, let me show us your dick then, Vosh. I'm just going on my fucking Discord. Can I read out donos? Is that okay with you guys? Are we okay to do that? I'm gonna have to roll through these super quick.
What did you say about dehumanizing me? I was talking to Max.
Wait, are you even listening?
I was talking to Max.
I said that after being with someone for long enough, casual dehumanization becomes a joke. Like
what was the dehumanization?
When I like reduce you to your boobs and you do the same thing with my dick.
Yeah, I do, and your ass.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Maybe objectification would have been a better term than dehumanization.
Yeah, because I was like, how do you dehumanize? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, objectification. Yeah, probably. All right, I love you.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
Yeah, I love you. How's your throat feeling?
I love you.
How's your throat feeling?
It's fine. I mean, you can hear it, right?
Well, your voice sounds better than it did yesterday.
Yeah, it's getting better.
I love you.
Love you.
Okay. It's so warm in this room. What am I doing? Donations. Donos. When did these donations come in? Wait, 2 p.m., 1 p.m. Here we go. Narrator with the tier 1 sub, thank you. The Zoe post and the IA master post video sum it all up pretty well. Also, Zoe murdered me, chat, call 911. Chat, call 911 right now. Amanda's on the floor. Narrator with $5. See, that's the bad part about all of this. It's bad that this shit happened to Zoe, yes, but just because this happened doesn't negate all the horrible things she's done herself. Life is pain. Oh wait, narrator, weren't you the person who was banned from chat because you were like being super anti-Zoe Quinn or whatever? Yeah. All right. Hey, listen. Don't worry about it, narrator. I love you, buddy. Thank you for the $10. Don't worry about it, guys. Kill me. Bro9650 with the $2. Hey Vosh, do you think a time will come when blacks will no longer be at the bottom of the barrel? I have no hopes it'll ever happen in our lifetime, but maybe over the next few centuries. Also, thank you for always answering my questions. You make my day. Over the next few centuries? Yeah, for sure. 100%. Ugh. I think it's entirely possible. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but keep in mind that racial hierarchies shift all the time in accordance with civilization, and with civilization, with time, society is moving even faster now than it ever has before. It's entirely conceivable to me that within the next few centuries, we may not have no racism. Maybe we'll have a different kind of racism. Maybe black people will be kings. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? Abaik with the $1 with the tier 1 sub. Thank you. I love Vosh. Never stop not stopping. Working on it. Isaac 420 with the $5. Thank you. Thanks for being the first thing I think about every time I get out of bed. Hey, Isaac 420. Me too. Every morning I think of you. I love you, buddy. Posadas John with $1. Vosh, you don't understand. The West has truly fallen. Not that they removed the Harpy Coochie from Final Fantasy. Yeah, that was pretty fucking bad. I can't believe they keep getting away with it. ASWG29 with the $5. I'm jealous of your thick beard. Please bottle and sell your semen so that your ultra-masculine beard genes can impregnate my face. Sure, yeah. When I'm doing my 50,000 sub goal, I might bottle up some bath water. So 100,000, and I'll be sure to ship you some blackened, yellowed, dehydrated cum bottles. Mythathir Mythater with the $20. Thank you. This is a ContraPoint stand stream. Fuck yes. Also, fucking, I'm non-binary and Contra's the best. She's never spoken against us. She just says that sometimes, unfortunately, we have different needs. It's really that simple. First of all, thank you so much for the $20. That is incredibly generous of you. But secondly, yeah, it's that simple. Guys, sometimes people who are part of different marginalized communities have different interests. It's that simple. Every time I see people like discuss Contra takes in a contradictory way, or not contradictory, sorry, and like when they're condemning them, they wildly mischaracterize what Contra said, and if they're called out in it, they'll go like, well, given Contra's history of bad takes with non-binaries, you know, it makes sense to not be too charitable with this one. But I've gone back and like, you can do that infinitely. Like the last one back was also mischaracterized, and so was the one before that. So there really isn't a history of ContraPoints being bad about trans people. I think ContraPoints has maybe said a few things that aren't 100% in line with the absolute wokest position. What do I need to do? Do I need to absorb some of her cancellation? Hey, fuck brown people. I'm taking it back from her. Hey, women, they're all dumb. What are you gonna do? Stupid women. Bring it in. I'm taking it away. I'm taking it here from Contra. Yeah, but given your history. Can you imagine these people back during the civil rights movements? Jesus Christ. MLK, I've heard he's had some yikesy takes about women, abused his wife. Malcolm X, I don't know about that. Some of his condemnation. I don't know if Malcolm X is support of Islam. I have some weird treatment of women. I don't know. The women's suffrage movement, progress isn't made by the hyper-wokest fucking people. The hyper-wokest people can pull society further to the left, but only if they do so in a way that is efficacious with good rhetoric, ways that are actually meant to affect people's positions and minds, rather than just like jerking off how pew you are personally. Ooh, Vladimir Lenin. I heard one time he said some really weird stuff. I think I'm toxic masculine. Here, hold on. Loopy Jackal with the $5. Bible promotes non-binary people. Galatians 3:28 confirms you can't change my mind. Thank you, Loopy Jackal. Christians uncancelled. Non-binary rights. Boot Me with the $5. Fuck anti-wokeness and NB-phobia, but fuck purity tests. Purity testing leftists or progressive non-men of color is a triple homomisic? Homomisic? What does that word mean? Purity testing leftists or progressive non-men of color is triple homomisic. I don't know what that means, but I love you. Thank you, Boot Me. And Boot Me with $5. Potato politics. Just stop being turfs, you woke scolds. Oh yeah, I saw that tweet. Thank you, comrade. Addy with the $10. Thank you. That's very kind of you. You're always so kind to me. PP poo poo. Why won't work ever release us? Hey, listen. Boss makes $1. I make a dime. That's why I PP poo poo on the company time. Am I right, folks? Hey, I'm walking here. Dieform Devil with the $5. Spell IYICUP, my guy. Did it. Don't get the point, but thank you, buddy. And Sverto with $5. Thank you. While we're on the subject of Gamergate, let's go over the pro Jared shit. Fucker is calling his ex a liar and trying to prove the pedophilia stuff wrong. I was considering going over the pro Jared stuff. I just don't know anything about it, and I don't care. It also doesn't seem super, like, political. I have no idea. Tiny Arms Activate. If I missed your dono, then tell me, what were you going to say? Homomizic is like homophobic. Oh, being homophobic is gay as shit. Johnny Rick, did I miss your sub? I'm terribly sorry. Sometimes the site just fails to pick up the API of some donations. What are you gonna do? Yeah, I just don't know enough about the Pro Jared stuff to really like make a decisive call on it. I think the Jared thing is too complex to boil down what's going on easily, TPH. Yeah, fair. You missed me? Oh, Jesus Christ, you people. I haven't even read the fucking super chats. Let's see. Here we go. Bitch, please, with the 50 Swedish kronar, thank you. Can you please debate the quartering and or geeks and gamers? These guys do almost more harm than the average Nazi. I don't think geeks and gamers does debate, but if I debated the quartering, he would just walk back on everything he's ever said like a gigantic pussy. So, like, I don't know if there'd even be any point. It would be really, really funny to just, like, make fun of him relentlessly, though. Jonesy Jones with the $2. Haven't donated lately. Disgustingly broke. Love you. Jonesy Jones, keep your fucking money to yourself if you can't afford to donate. Jesus Christ. Bengus Khan with the $5. Chat, remember, don't hate Contra because she's a little behind on non-binaries. Hate because she's a liberal. Ayo! Also, I started volunteering for Bernie. Volunteering for Bernie? You sound like a liberal. Ayo! Everyone's a liberal but me. Haven't you heard? Aurora with the $2. Would you talk to Peter Joseph Zeitgeist if you could? Who the fuck is that? I mean, my guy, oh, the person who made, oh yeah, from the person who made Zeitgeist? I mean, sure, right? I'll talk to anyone. I love talking to people. I'm a real talkative guy. Castrix Defiant with the £5, thank you. I'm a cis white hetero guy. Contra has educated me so much more about trans and gender issues. I stand with Contra. Cancel the wokelets. That's what I'm saying. And Posada down with the $1. Vosh, you're our champion. You will take the slings and arrows from the woke scolders to save our queen Contra. Well, maybe she'll talk to me on stream then. Mr. Cody Goat Morris with the $10. Thank you. That's incredibly kind of you. Hey Vosh, I love you. When can we get that hair care routine? My hair looks like shit right now because I left my brush in LA. Like a fucking, look at this. Look at this. What the fuck is this? Because I don't have a brush. I just have a comb for my fucking degenerate non-white girlfriend's kinky hair. The big fucking comb. I don't have a brush for my glorious Aryan locks. I just put shampoo in every day. Case plays games with the $5. Thank you. Actually, Vosh, MLK, and Malcolm were both called sellouts within the black community. Of course they were. No, I think I remember reading that. Yeah, absolutely they were. Of course they were called because they work with the white man because they're conceding to the white man. Damn. If only the fucking woke scolds of the 1960s had won, then they would have demonstrated their purity by still having blacks be second-class citizens. If only. Just a moment. Dun, 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 dun. Preloada with a tier 1 sub, thank you. I'm a binary trans man, and I've been told by several non-binary people that me being stealth is damaging to the trans community, and I have a moral obligation to scream that I'm trans to everyone I meet. This is exactly what I mean. These people, they tend to be non-binary leaning trans people who are young and hyper woke, and they have the fucking anime catgirl fucking icons, and they define themselves with their like political identities. That tends to be what they do. But anyway, these people are like destructive. Can you imagine it being like 2008 and you're trans and you're just trying to get by? And it's 2010 and now you pass and you're just living your life. And then it's 2017 and younger trans people are telling you that you're enabling bigotry for being a stealth trans person, for not being super fucking out and loud about it. Can you just fucking fathom? Can you fucking fathom? K's plays games with the $5. Actually, Vosh MLK. Oh, I think that cut off in the dono, but I got the full dono when I saw it on Streamlabs. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Jesus. I wonder if I'm being a little bit too energetic for my own good here. Dream Express with a tier 1 sub. Obamacare money. Thank you, comrade. Tiny Arms Activate with the tier 1 sub. So it did come through. Thank you. Been watching your AMA on Anarchist Military. Oh no, this was the oh no. I wrote my master's dissertation on exactly this topic and would love help if you're ever doing a research stream, starting PhD in ANCOM theory of international relations if you want to chat about World Bowl. Tiny Arms Activate, I do want to chat to you. Message me on Discord, vosh.gg, there's a Discord link at the top. Go to the Discord, DM me, my DMs are open. I want to talk to you. Hey, you. Hey! Hey! Tiny Arms Activate! Look at me. Look at me. DM me on Discord. Just making sure I went through all the donations proper. You know how it'd be. Johnny Rick S with the tier 1 sub. Thank you. This stream reminded me that we need like a genuine movement to ensure there's more ethics in game journalism. I need help coming up with a name. Ha! The funny thing is that most of the people who whinged on about Gamergate the hardest ended up being de facto games journalists themselves, and those people ended up being far more biased, far more reactionary, far more like horrible than like anything they were ever pretending to criticize to begin with. Just a nice little meme there. Just a fresh meme. Kakeen. The Big Bad Bonobo with the $10 Canadian. Thank you, comrade. Meant to pay this much the first time? Oh, well, don't worry about it. Hey, listen. I'm happy to get anything at all. And Bengus Khan with the $5. Calling me a lib, I'm canceling you for invalidating the experiences of a trans person. A trans person? I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry, my friend. Liberals are not people. Hold on. We've finally gone through the donut. We're so fucking close to not being sick. We're so fucking close to being healthy. I feel like I'm at 90%, you know? One thing that really doesn't help, though, is the fact that it's like 85 degrees in this room. Should I, like, close the blinds? Should I open the window? I'm gonna open the window and close the blinds. How about that? Let's try that, huh? Yeah! There we go. Nice meme. Nice. Nice meme. Nice meme. I still can't believe that ContraPoints is fucking dead. That's fucking wild. Oh, thanks for liking the tweet, guys. Alright, nice fucking meme. Oh wait, wasn't Peter Coffin getting canceled over this? at the end of the day, like the problem. At the end of the day, the problem with this shit is that like, the people who want to cancel over this shit will cry out that there's a productive conversation to be had here, but that conversation is legitimately impossible in the environment we exist in right now. I have tried for literal fucking months to have a productive conversation on what I consider to be, like, the hyper woke, like, cancel culturally left, and They weren't there. They weren't there before I opened the fucking window. They know. I can smell my pheromones. Anyway, it's honestly, it's kind of like an abuse tactic if you think about it. Camera? Good? Yeah. It's kind of like an abuse tactic. What you do is, so the cancel culture process in and of itself is already incredibly unproductive. Like, if somebody, a public figure who advocates for your rights consistently, does something that you disagree with, and for that you would like, this person's a piece of shit, this person holds us back, like, that's already really bad. But even if you take a step back from that, the process itself, Contra isn't canceled, Lamau. ContraPoints has seen an enormous amount of controversy, largely from people who consistently misrepresent her positions. I don't think that's a controversial statement. Yeah, controversy. Yeah. But yeah, the yeah. But it's basically an abuse tactic. You want to demonstrate sort of performative wokeness, so you dogpile with other people who are also very super cool and woke, somebody who does actual meaningful advocacy, and then when that person speaks up and says, like, hey, I feel like I'm being misrepresented, you dogpile them for that. You gaslight them, essentially. I've experienced this all the time. People who don't want a productive conversation, who want to fucking attack you and then hide behind anonymity, will in their next breath stand up and say that you're, like, misdirecting by not dealing with this in, like, a perfectly cogent, productive, consistent way, which is impossible because the accusations that you face if you're a public figure aren't laid out to you in a bullet point list. They're thrown at you by 1,000 anonymous, faceless people who and they're impossible to respond to cogently. A response to one may fit into the narrative of another, and no matter what you do, it's going to end up reinforcing the idea that you're, like, desperately fighting. Just go with it. If you the only real way to, like, I live in a quiet residential street. This is wild. I had the window closed for an hour and a half and there was no noise outside. But you're bombarded with accusations from tons and tons of people, and if you respond to it, if you think, hey, this is misrepresentative of what I'm saying, you lose, because the people who misrepresented you will disappear into the fucking gaslight zone and reemerge saying that, actually, no, nobody's misrepresenting you. You just need to own up to what you've done, sweetie. There's no way to respond to that in a way that won't lead to these same people condemning you more for it. There's no response that deals with all of them. And if you don't respond to it, if you just ignore it, then it's like a tumor that grows on your back that they will slowly, they'll grow and grow, and eventually you'll have no choice but to address it. There really is, like, no fucking way to, Dude, Contra deleted her Twitter, what the fuck? Wow, conspicuous user! Wow, really? Contra deleted her oh, boy. Jeez, oh, golly. I better update my, my stream title. Boy, golly gosh. Oh, a person with an incomprehensible name that I cannot read or pronounce. With the 400 rubles. Thank you. How much? $6. Thank you. I feel like this is kind of about the dirtbag left versus the woke left. This conflict has to be resolved if we want to combat the right effectively. Yeah, for sure, 100%. It's also a big difference in like this is fucking wild. Jesus Christ. I need to buy an air conditioner today. Anyway, it's like a really clear, why would we want to be dirtbags? A dirtbag leftist, it's just a broad term to refer to like kind of edgy leftists. Anyway, like it's really reflective of the differences in political advocacy between the right and the left. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the right is really, really, really good at working together when it needs to. The broad base that like brought Trump into office was everything from evangelical Christians to like libertarians to literal Nazis. Like everyone on the right, even though these people have wildly different interests. Evangelical conservatives should have no interest in like philandering dipshitty like reality TV show stars, but they love misogyny and racism. Libertarians shouldn't have any interest in like protectionist like policies and like bigotry, but they sure do love favoritism towards businesses. Nazis also shouldn't be in favor of anyone who kowtows to like the neocon establishment and it's like pro-immigration sort of like Koch brothers Heritage Foundation agenda, but they sure do love being racist against non-white people. All the elements of the right are really, really capable of coming together to make the world a worse place. They're like really, really good at that. But then on the left, like we have shit like this. ContraPoints is literally like New York Times written about her. She's like the best fucking representative we got. One of them, the libertarian candidate, did shit on Trump. Granted, he was an idiot. Yeah, and then after the libertarian candidate dropped out of the primaries, the libertarians fell into line and started supporting Trump. But then you've got this shit, and like, it's fucking wild. This is what we have to deal with. Our best candidates are the people most capable of defending trans rights, of advocating for our political interests. The majority of the abuse they get is from the left, not the right. Guys, I get shit on by Nazis all the time, but the worst abuse that I get is from the left. I'm not kidding. This isn't me being a grift like Tim Pool, Dave Rubin. Hey, listen, as a leftist, I think the left has gone too far and that we need to start critiquing. No, none of that shit. But like for real though, like day by day, I know what kind of shit I get in my inboxes. I know the emails I get. I know the DMs I get in Discord. I know the fucking Twitter ads I get. Sometimes I do a bad and I search my name on Twitter. I see what people say about me, and it's not the Nazis. I can deal with Nazis saying shit about me. I don't give a fuck about them. They're my enemy. Day by day, I deal with them. I make fun of them. That's the game. But my ability to do that, my ability to shit on Nazis, neocons, racists, sexist, conservatives, transphobes, my ability to meaningfully engage in leftist rhetoric is compromised substantially by the existence of people on the left who are more interested in enforcing a purity test on the people who do advocacy for them than they are in actually affecting discourse or improving the world. I mean, if you like really want to be like the wokest little like public figure, then go make a YouTube channel. Go make a YouTube channel. Go start a Discord group. Go start a politics server. Start advertising. Go put in work. Go do on-campus pamphleteering. Go do something. Start a club. Engage, because that's what the world needs. Right-leaning people get to do this shit all the time. Right-leaning people, their public advocacy is really, really solid. People like Steven Crowder, people like Ben Shapiro, they're getting funded fucking millions of dollars by like Koch brother, like dark money conservative welfare. You realize that, right? Do you know who's funding ContraPoints? Your YouTube views and Patreon subs are funding ContraPoints. If somebody like Steven Crowder gets abuse online, who the fuck cares? He's a media figure. He's corresponded with Fox News. He has media consultants. He can literally have people screen his inbox, his emails, his DMs. He has managers. He can work with people to flawlessly put out a content machine, a propaganda apparatus designed to convince millions of people that, I don't know, brown people are coming to steal their lunchbox. If ContraPoints get shit on 24/7? Nope, that's the tweet box. If ContraPoints get shit on 24/7 and this happens, that's that. That's this. This is what you get. This couldn't happen to Steven Crowder. Not only is there not a base of people on the right who would go to Steven Crowder and be like, Steven Crowder, I don't know, you've represented this one particular issue. I think you really need to reassess why you're a conservative. Steven Crowder, why haven't you publicly commented on the Jewish question? They don't do this. But even if they did do it, the way that media apparatus is designed is much more solid than what we have. ContraPoints is one of the biggest progressive-like figures, period. And her fucking Twitter account, which reached millions of people, is now deleted because of the abuse she got from people who thought she was being NB-phobic because she pointed out that people who are like binary passing trans have different interests than people who are not passing or non-binary trans and tend to be younger. That's a factual statement. That's not being weird about non-binary people. Learn some fucking nuance. The world doesn't revolve around you. There are other marginalized communities. And democracy works because people speak up about their own experiences. How would you feel if some fucking Aborigine black person or whatever in Canada, or Native American here in America, spoke up and they were like, hey, here are my experiences and here's what I want. And it was like slightly different than what like a Latin immigrant wanted. And you like silenced the fucking Native American, like, no, shut up. This is what we're going with. Shut the fuck up. What the fuck you doing? It's just like Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, Prager University. These are big channels with big outreach that affect a lot of fucking people. Like a lot of people. And they do it behind a media apparatus that is designed to insulate them from criticism, to fund them when they need funding. But even if they didn't have all of that, the conservatives aren't as toxic amongst each other as leftists are. They're really not. Certainly not to their big figures. Not in the same way that we are. The right doesn't have a sit down to talk about like problematic Crowder behavior because they're pretty undiscerning. We are discerning and that's a good thing, but that discerning nature has to be funneled appropriately. It's not good enough just to be critical. You have to be practical too. And it wasn't very practical, relentlessly criticizing ContraPoints by constantly misrepresenting the shit she said. Aboriginal Australians are multiple broad groups that disagree a lot, but they still have to unite to combat white Australia. Yeah. You have to agree. To coalition build, you have to work with people with whom you have disagreements. You have to work with people that you have different material interests to. That's how coalitions are built. I'm reminded of the Black Panther Party, who would who said that we're not going to fight fire with fire. Well, this was Fred Hampton. We're not going to fight fire with fire. We're going to fight fire with water. We're not going to fight capitalism with black capitalism. We're going to fight capitalism with socialism. We're not going to fight racism with racism. We're going to fight racism with anti-racism. And they would go and they made an active effort to consolidate their political power, their base, their movement with Latin street gangs. In Illinois, I remember reading about this. They would literally like walk down the street and like meet with like crowds of like brown gang members, and they would talk, be like, hey, hey, you and I are different. We got a lot of shit we disagree about. We got different interests. We're a civil rights movement. You're literally a fucking criminal gang, but we got a shared interest, and that's against racism. You willing to work together? And they fucking did. They did. But we can't do that anymore. We can't do that anymore. The left doesn't function that way anymore, and it's a serious problem. I've tried to talk about it in the past, and I have done a bad job about it because I get really upset, because I care about this, because I actually give a shit about the left being made better and stronger about advocacy rather than it being made purer. I don't give a fuck how pure the left is. I am so radically far left compared to the political base of America, I'm not going to see a tenth of my dreams accomplished in my lifetime, if that. A tenth would be a dream of my goals. Purity is not what I need. I need more outreach. I need effectiveness. I need solidarity. I need coalition building. I need to be able to work with people. You need to be able to work with people. We need pragmatism. Every fucking time I hit the fucking button. Isn't Aborigines an imperialist term? Is Aborigines an imperialist term? If it is, then I haven't heard that. But if it is, then I'm sorry. I just hadn't heard that. Now chat's saying no. I don't care. The sentiment is expressed either way. This shit is just really frustrating for me. Not just because I like Contra, and hey, I like Contra. But not just because why is it when I hit that one button, it fucking does the thing? Shut up. There, now we're on the other chat. And I do like Contra. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, she's like really hot and stuff. But, it's like, who's enough, you know? Who meets that bar? If you're determined enough, you will be able to find fault, maybe even problematic behavior in every public figure you will ever encounter. There will never be a person that aligns perfectly with your understanding. If you get really into the weeds, I mean, sure, like healthcare, college, yeah, I mean, cool, we can agree on that. Get really into the weeds. Get into stuff like the minutia of terms of advocacy for political policy regarding like the legislation of stuff to amend like gender imbalances. Really dig in. You're never going to find someone who agrees with you on everything. You're never going to do it unless you're deliberately modeling your politics to be reflective of somebody that you idealize. In which case, learn to think for yourself. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with taking pointers from other people, but you should always be critical of the people that you follow. You're never going to be able to find someone who perfectly aligns with you. And the extent to which you're willing to cancel or criticize or dogpile people for disagreeing with you, even though you'll disagree with everyone in the end, is largely reflective of the social performative power that you get out of doing so. Can I tell you guys a story? Wait, here. Vosh, the problem is Contra keeps saying really bad shit about non-binary people and non-passing peeps instead, and of saying non-binary people are hurting trans rights isn't bad to you. Don't care about non-binary people. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Okay, so this is pretty much what I mean right here. Let's take a look at this right here. Here, this is perfect. This is excellent. We can snapshot this, and we can... Here, this is perfect. Perfectly representative of what I'm talking about. Here we go. Look at that. Vosh, the problem is Contra keeps saying really bad shit about non-binary and non-passing peeps. No, she really hasn't. I really keep up with Contra, okay? I've seen her takes. I've seen the drama. She really hasn't said that. And I'm going to assume you mean if, saying non-binary people are hurting trans rights isn't bad to you, Contra has never said non-binary people are hurting trans rights. I'm going to say it. Non-binary people as a broad group are overrepresented in the people who are actively hurting trans advocacy on Twitter. That is true. That is absolutely true. I'll defend that. I'll say it again. Of the people online who are doing this hyper-woke cancel culturally shit, Contra is right. It is largely more non-binary leaning trans people. And they, when they do that, are hurting trans rights. When you dogpile trans advocates because they aren't as hyper-woke as you are hurting trans rights. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. That's not a condemnation of non-binary people. That just means that social space tends to have certain characteristics, you know? It's not because they're non-binary. It's because that the whole non-binary trans thing, like Contra so eloquently said, is more of a newer phenomena. That older trans people tend to be more stealth, more wanting to just be binary and pass, and then newer trans people, younger trans people, lean more into being non-binary, just generally speaking, and being more out and proud of their transness. Anyone who hasn't noticed this trend, I think you should pay more attention. I think this is pretty evident, really. I've certainly noticed it over the past decade. And that it is the latter crowd, the Zoomers. We can blame them for being Zoomers. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. We all do a little bit of Zoomer hate now and again. These Zoomers are engaging in the type of cancel culturally shit that does actively hurt trans rights. Contra deleting Twitter, that does hurt trans rights. People relentlessly purity testing people because they misrepresented statements in the past, that's hurting trans rights. This comment right here, hurting trans rights, because Contra's never said any really bad shit about non-binary and non-passing peeps at all. And then they say, I don't care about non-binary people, sorry, but it's the truth. So that's what we're getting right here. That's what we're getting from this one. So this is exactly the kind of statement that like kills the left right here. So you see right here? And I can just say like super simply, this is the kind of statement that destroys nuance, that moralizes and purity tests, that deliberately misrepresents the position of others for the purposes of enforcing a purity test. Yeah, this would be like if a civil rights activist was shutting down abolitionists during slavery. Yeah, can you imagine like the abolitionists during slavery who are like, hey, blacks should be free, but they're probably not as smart as whites, and like they couldn't get anything done because civil rights activists who thought everyone were equal kept telling them to shut the fuck up. Hey, did you know back in the days of slavery, abolitionists and people who believed blacks and whites were genuinely the same worked together. They worked together because the people who believed blacks and whites were truly the same were willing to work with people who didn't if it meant accomplishing the shared goal of freeing them from chattel slavery. I think that's a worthwhile compromise. For the meantime, then the civil rights activists can keep going, but in the meantime, let's accomplish one goal at a time, yes? But this is pretty much exactly what I mean when I talk about like problems in discourse. Stuff like this is really, really bad. And I don't think this is a particularly woke take anyway. Whatever the case is, let me share a quick story. Really, really quick. So I'm 25, cis white dude, whatever, take that for what you will. But my journey into like being a leftist has been a rocky one, you know. It's never perfect. I've had me some cringe moments along the way. Don't mind me just consolidating some things. Listen, who doesn't cringe now and again, okay? And there was a point in time during my cringe zone. Why does it do that? There was a point in time during my sort of cringe zone space that I was really, really interested in proving to other people how woke I was. I was really, really into that. I was really into that. Can we throw up a hand? Can we hypers in chat if there was ever a point in time when like be honest with yourself. You were really obsessed with proving to your social space how progressive you were. I'm seeing some folks. Yep. Now, I don't do that anymore. Nowadays, I just advocate for my politics and I do the best that I can, you know? My politics, I think, are like pretty woke as woke goes, but I'm not doing it to prove I'm woke. I'm doing it because I care about these issues. But I remember my woke lib shit was best exemplified in a particular interaction. Does anyone, hold on, sorry. God, that's annoying. Anyway, do you think this type of woker may behaviors from newer leftists? I can't imagine this from an experienced leftist. Yes. Most of the people who engage in this behavior have been leftists for 3 years or less. 100%. Anyway, here's my little story. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'll cut this out of the fucking YouTube video when I make it. And as you see, it is through the discursive nature of internet leftist discourse that you see this type of performative behavior and so on and so on. Anyway, for real though. I'm gonna kill myself. Anyway, it's literally never ending. Whatever, I'm sick. I should probably end streaming soon, like I don't tax myself. Whatever the case may be. Let's get back on track. I used to be part of a community called Shit Reddit Says on Reddit. It's super fucking lib shitty. It's like 100% like a circle jerk about how woke you are, okay? But whatever, at least they're leftists, or at least progressive. But anyway, I used to be part of that community. I've been a leftist. I've been a leftist for 6 years. I know many of you are younger than me. Oh no, what? What? What did you just throw in here?
Dayquil.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take it in a
I
second.
forgot to give it to you earlier.
Thank you, my medicine baby.
Yeah.
I was in a community called SRS. Shit Reddit Says, pretty lib shitty, whatever, who cares? It was progressive, I'm growing up, okay? You know, I was like 19, 20. Anyway, there was an IRC channel associated with SRS, and I was there, and I was pretty low on the social totem pole because I was a cis white dude. I'm not trying to be like obnoxious or whatever, but like that's a thing, you know, because I was like a cis white dude. So like there were people who just had a higher degree of like validity than me just by nature of their existence. And in that social space, I mean, not in general society, but in that social space. And I was really, really, really desperate to prove how woke I was. And I remember there was one time where someone in the IRC channel had typed out the term trans woman, not trans space woman, but trans woman. Oh, is this true? Hold on. My Twitter account has been hacked. Please help me get my followers back. I don't think this is real. Yeah, this is fake, 100%. There's no way. My Twitter account was hacked, but then 9 minutes ago would post the most latest. Nah, this isn't real. They just copied the information from before. Yeah. Good afternoon.
This is not a solicitation call. Hi, this is the credit card holder award center from Visa.
Shut up. Do it. Return the account. Okay. Somebody used the term trans woman. That's not trans space woman, that's trans woman no space. Now, much in the same way that a bunch of linguistic trends are kind of like fads in the leftist space, like for example, the alphabet soup LGBTIAAQP, like that shit plus, much in the same way that for a while everyone was putting an asterisk after trans. It was trans asterisk, and that was like trans plus, but then people stopped doing it. For a while, it was really, really faux pas to do trans woman without a space, you know? Because the argument was trans is an adjective. Trans women are women. So if you say trans space woman, that is a woman who is trans, adjective. But if you say trans woman with no space, that is a noun, meaning that a trans woman is intrinsically different than a trans space woman, or than from a woman. Super meaningless, totally irrelevant. Nobody cares. But they cared at the time. It's incredibly asinine, yes. But at the time, it was a big deal. Anyway, somebody had said trans woman, no space. So I was like, and this is again the super woke progressive space. So I was like, hey, don't use that. Say trans space woman. And nobody replied to me. The IRC channel scrolling past. You see in the little text bar, Irish laddie says, you see it scrolling past, hey, don't use trans no space woman. Scrolling past. No one noticed it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it again. No one cared. And then the person who I was calling out did it again. Trans no space woman. And so I did it again. Hey, you shouldn't do this. And then at some point someone was like, dude, Irish laddie, that's a trans woman. And that's when I stopped trying to do that. The funny thing is, if I had typed out trans no space woman, they would have dogpiled me for it because I was a cis dude. But that's when I stopped trying to do that. But why was I doing that? Like, why was I doing that? Why did I 3 times? Why did I post that? The reason why I did that was because the social capital in that space was being woker than other people. Every new leftist has experienced this to some extent. The introduction into a social space where the commodity is how woke you are, or how familiar you are with theory, or other things like that. And that's like the commodity that you trade in. And that desire for woke clout drove me to post cringe. The problem is, if you are in a community that rewards that behavior and perpetuates it in like an echo chamber, you end up with a group of people who are insufferable and very harmful to discourse because they obliterate nuance. They're obnoxious. They aren't actually concerned with improving the world or making it a better place. They're concerned with other people knowing how much they want to improve the world and make it a better place. They don't care about practicality or rhetoric or optics or presentability or any of the things that matter when it comes to the delivery of a position. All they actually care about is the reinforcement of their position within a social space. And that's why the accounts that tend to do this shit on Twitter over and over and over again, that is why they are so habitually obsessed with their identity, with that kind of behavior. If you look through their feeds on Twitter, and I admit I'm generalizing a bit here, but if you look through their feeds on Twitter of the kind of people who woke scold others, who cancel Contra all the time, you'll find like that's all they do. Like, that's it. When it comes to political engagement, that's pretty much all they do. Scold other people for not doing better. They don't make big positive posts about the need to do this, or they don't make big posts about defending that. You know what they never do? They never attack right-leaning people. Because there's no social clout to be gained in a woke space from being woker than a bigot. That's a pretty low bar. You don't get points for that. They never, ever, ever go after the reactionaries. But they will cancel the hell out of left-leaning people. And that's their entire contribution to the political space. That's it. That's all they do. It is virtue signaling. There are a lot of terms that reactionaries coined that we kind of distanced ourselves from because they were mostly, misused by reactionaries. Reactionaries will say it's virtue signaling to say, like, you don't hate black people, like, the fuck them. But when all you do is signal to others that you're, like, really in with the most fucking woke, progressive political positions, but you don't do anything with it, you just kind of show off, and you actively harm discourse by hurting people who are meaningfully pushing for your interests. It's a little virtue signaling, Yeah, reactionaries virtue signal all the time, 100%. I think you can call them out for that, but this is virtue signaling. Anyway, Mythaldo, I just said virtue signaling. Oh yeah, like invented, like 100%, yeah. I agree, Ellie Rogers 12. The woker than thou shit just has to end. We have to make positive steps forward. Guys, the leftist space is literally running on donations and fucking ad revenue. That's what we run on. The right is running on donations from billionaires and collaboration with the fucking Republican convention. That's where they get their money from. There is much more money, so much more money in what they do than what we do. If we want to win, we have to stand together. Some people don't want to stand together, and it's not people like me. I build my platform in solidarity. I'll work with anyone if we have shared interests. But I wonder, do I have shared interests with somebody whose only political contributions are attacking the left from a position of hyper-performative wokeness that is so beyond the meaningful discourse, that is so intent on misrepresenting their allies that it almost comes off as like a bad faith attack from a fucking like deep state plant? Sometimes I read these people's Twitters and I wonder if they're like reactionaries that are like false flagging. I can't tell. I don't think they are, but like I can't tell. This is the consequence of a lot of young people getting into the left. This is the consequence, really, of 2016. And that is one of the things that I do. I want to build a political space where that wokeness isn't rewarded. That's my community. If you want to be fucking cool in my community, you know what you have to be? You have to be fucking cool. You have to be able to do the fucking kick flips with the little skateboard. That's what you have to be able to do to be cool in my community. The tech deck, that's what they're called. That's what you got to be cool to do in my community. I see my Discord, I see my tweets. Nobody in my community is like actively like purging other people or like trying to impugn them for not being perfect. Nobody's doing that. And that's good, because my community, at least I try to have my community, be oriented around efficacy, shared political goals, shared values, effectiveness, delivery, rhetoric, making the world a better place, not, mind you, looking as though you're making the world a better place. I want to show people it's possible to be cool in a leftist space without having that be attached to a pathological desire for woke clout. That's what I try to do. That's what I want. So hopefully we can build that, because right now, the way the space exists, it's untenable. This is not workable. We can't do this. This is not gonna fly. It's not. It's not. This is not workable. where every leftist content creator is fighting a fucking two-phase war between the entire right-leaning establishment and the left-leaning people who are constantly fucking scrutinizing them for even the slightest signs of impropriety or misbehavior, to immediately jump on them screaming, "You're bad for us, you're bad for our movement, you're bad for our community, we don't want to be represented by someone like you, someone who's only more leftist and progressive than 99.98% of the population," and then we tear them and they lose Patreon subs, or they delete their Twitter account, or they get dogpiled on Twitter, and then you hopefully wait for someone even more careful and sensitive and incapable of appealing to the sensibilities of most people to arise, and then you support them until they do something, which inevitably everyone will. If you create a political space in which it is statistically improbable that someone who advocates for your interests effectively will be accepted within that space, you've created a toxic space. And I just want us to do better. I just want us to do better. How would you differentiate performative wokeness from legitimate criticisms of rhetoric that harms group one is advocating for? I don't know. I mean, how would you differentiate between like being upset with your partner and like beating the shit out of them and then like crying and saying you'll kill yourselves if they leave them? Like, just like, the way the left works right now is fucking abusive, dude. There's something really fucked up when someone like me, who goes out of his way to poke Nazi hornets' nests, gets more shit on by the left than he does the right, even though I am radically farther left than most left-leaning content producers. I guarantee you that in terms of actual prescriptive positions, I'm farther left than most people on BreadTube, and probably more effective at arguing the positions that they advocate for. Not all of them, but a lot of them, for sure. And the fact that I now get more shit from the left, there's something really fucking wrong. And I think we need to take a step away from the position we're in now before we can even think to like course correct and go like, okay, we can be critical of this. What's the word? Do you think like Natalie is going to make a video like, actually, non-binary people are dumb? The black camera slowly opens. Natalie, wearing a codpiece and 2 pasties and nothing else, standing on top of a couch made from the corpse of a rhino. Non-binary people fucking suck. Title card. No. Let's calm it down. Would you say leftist infighting is the reason we lose against the right? I mean, it's one of the reasons. It's a serious fucking problem. Just found out Andrew Yang is Nazbol gang? Yeah, of course Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang loves his Nazbol shit. Whatever. Cut the video. We're done. Cut the video with the YouTube. Stop. Stop. We're done. Stop. You know, they don't talk about this, but being sick when you have a big mustache is frustrating. Not today, Lillian, but it'll be tomorrow. The ContraPoints thing kind of took me by surprise. You ever find food in that thing? I keep clean. Yeah, probably Towcat. Why the fuck, man? Do you brush it? Of course. Wait, I don't need to brush my mustache. My mustache is like, super, like, see? All my mustache hairs point the same direction. I have a really clean mustache. Do you guys even appreciate my fucking beard grooming? It perfectly frames my face. It just extends my jawline down like 3/4 of an inch. I keep my mustache perfectly clean and my it curls. It's a curly mustache. Look, wait, look how different I look if I don't curl it. This is Negavosh right here. See, this is a whole different vibe. Howdy. Okay, let's... There we go. Would you ever go mustache only? Nah, I'm not that pretentious. Sorry, I didn't mean for the Contra thing to go on for so long. Thank you, Title Punk Roller Girl. It seems there are some people in Discord who want to argue. Let me go over donations and then we can do that, I suppose. Oh boy, folks have donated. My goodness. Tenzen Kusanagi with the $2. Thank you. Would you dunk on Lauren Chen or Freedom Tunes? The Freedom Tunes guy actually messaged me on Twitter and asked if I wanted to debate. I don't really like know what there'd be to talk about. I mean, I hate the cartoons. Lauren Chen, like, sure, definitely. Force Bottomify with the $5. Can we force bottom surgery Nazis and take their peepees and sew it into her assholes so they can go fuck themselves? Unfortunately, that sounds like political violence, which I am very much not in favor of. I am a very, very big advocate for pacifism, but you can always like jerk off while you think about it. Spau with the tier 2 sub. Thank you. That's incredibly kind of you. Just a well-off Norwegian here. I give what I can to the anarchist cause. Thank you, comrade. You're my sponsor for today. Actually, the guy who gave €100 is my sponsor for today. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. Narrator with the tier 1 sub, which is strange because I'm pretty sure you already gave me a tier 1 sub, Narrator. I'm just here to eat my Subway and debate socialists on gasoline, not be attacked. Also, what do I do if my dad flew to Florida on Friday and he's had his flight canceled 4 times? Ooh, yikes. Damn, sounds like your dad's fucking dead, my dude. I mean, I'm sorry. I guess, like... Get a good deal on, like, a gravestone. West with the tier 1 sub. Do a Sekiro stream tonight and help us pay you rent. Help us help you pay us rent. I mean, I could, but if I do that, I'll have to end stream pretty soon because I need a fucking cooldown period. Hate Non-Gloria Ferro with the $5. Didn't the quartering get smacked the fuck up at an MTG competition? Also, if you could block Contra from being cancelled, but your cum would be white instead of red, would you do it? My cum is already white, not red. Did you mean red, not white? Yeah, I mean, as a consequentialist, I'm pretty sure that I would have no choice but to take red cum to block Contra from being cancelled. The material harm would be lessened, you know? Bengus Khan with a tier 1 sub. Ayo! Watch Pink Floyd The Wall. Go fuck yourself. I have no free time. I love you. As a cis guy, Contra... oh, fuck me, I just... JPRS with a 330. As a cis guy, Contra helped me a lot realize issues trans people face. Currently learning master's thesis on legal process of transition in Poland. Rip ContraPoints. Damn! JPRS made you go from not knowing much about trans people to doing a master's thesis on the process of transition in Poland? Damn, sounds like we shouldn't have fucking canceled her. Thank you for the $1 dues, comrade. Balthazar228 with $5. CNN decided to do a live stream town hall for climate change with each of the candidates. They then hid the most important issue to humanity's survival behind a 10-minute preview paywall. Nice meme. Nice meme. Listen, when the chopping blocks get rolled out, I'm telling you, CNN is coming before Fox News. Easily. Easily. That's an easy call on my end. 100%. CNN, you fucking listening to me? You pieces of shit. Also, I'm pretty sure they're the ones who took my stream down for restreaming the debates. Kays Plays Games with the $2. Have you read MLK's views on alliance politics? Yes, I have. They were a huge inspiration for me a few days ago. I probably haven't read like all of them. I've read like about them and a little bit of them. I could probably do to read more. Oh, in a video game, obviously. Communist propagandist with the $2 Australian. Money for an air conditioner, keep the left cool. Please, God, my fucking thighs are soaked with sweat right now. It's so hot in here. Jacob Busia with the $2. $2 with the $10. 5 times as many dollars as $2. Take my money, comrade. Today's the anniversary of Salvador Allende winning the Chilean election, making him the first Marxist to win a presidential election before the CIA got him. RIP Project Cybersyn. Rip a fucking Reno. Rip a fucking Reno, Salvador Allende. We stand a legend. Yeah, true, white Nervosa. Little fucking cunts. Not Allende. GJ Ford with the $10. Thank you. Do you think woke scolding is part of an effort to one-up what other leftists is part of programming to be competitive by a capitalist system, even if unknowingly? That's actually a really good point, GJ Ford. That's actually an interesting question I don't have an answer for. Do you think that the competitive framework of capitalism incentivizes the performative wokeness, the desire to demonstrate one's moral superiority over others within the social space you share? Allende, not Allende. Oh yeah, double L's Spanish. Thank you for the $10, comrade. Ariel Fernandez with $5. In the Spanish Civil War, wasn't one of the reasons why the nationalists won because the Republicans/leftists couldn't get along? Yeah, well, you know, just a little itty-bitty case of the USSR funding the Marxist-Leninists to backstab the anarchists and fighting their comrades when they could have been fighting together against the fascists. Just a little oopsie. I'm not mad at all. I'm not mad at all about Catalonia and Spain, or the fascists winning, or the USSR funding people who backstabbed the revolution. I'm not mad. Just one of the times the USSR just sort of accidentally suppressed revolutions. You know, sometimes Stalin does an oopsie. What are you gonna do? And not mad, just fucking furious. James Hill with the $4 Canadian. Is left eating left an issue or red herring? It's an actual issue. I never realized how bad it was until I became like a public figure. I know that I, as a public figure, am going to experience, especially me, not just as a public figure, as a Vosh. A Vosh. I know that I'm going to experience more of this than most people, but like now that I've taken a step back and I've been able to sort of look at this from a top-down perspective, it's a really big issue. And I've talked to other content creators quietly. I assume they wouldn't want to be named, so I'm not going to, but these are some large content creators who you know and watch, who've also said that they feel that the hype, this is my language, not theirs, that the hyper woke sort of purity testing left is a silencing. It's like, it has a chilling effect on their ability to like discuss issues that they think are important, because they know that like any deviation from the line there is going to incur upon them far more drama than it's worth. So like, yeah, it's an actual issue, and a lot of them are not. I'm not saying that like secretly like all like Sean and fucking H-Bomber and Contra are all like saying this together or anything. I'm just saying like I have talked about it. And it is an issue, and it's an issue others are aware of. They're not willing to speak about because there are serious social consequences to doing so. Show Stocko Lich with the $5. I'm fine with people being contentious, even hyperbolic, but what makes me sad is that any attempt Contra made to clarify herself was met with goalpost moving and straight denial of her intent. Yeah, I don't have a problem at all with criticism or even like outright hostility towards public figures. It just has to be done honestly, and it should be done for the right reasons. It should be done because you're trying to meaningfully affect discourse, or because you're trying to change an opinion, not because you're trying to like woke stan, you know, or like woke scold. It has to be done for the right reasons. I have criticized public figures in the past, but I never do it just to prove I'm better than them. I do it because I actively want to like highlight a problem in their position and hopefully provide a better alternative. 11 years of service with the $5. Big mood. About 5 years ago, I was at my peak performative woke state. I basically used it as a substitute for a personality while blanketing myself in an echo chamber, alienating people on the fence. I mean, it feels good. Shez Elliott with the $5. Look at Society of the Spectacle re-performative wokeness. The left needs to be sticky socially. Everyone, we need to be cool and sticky. Listen, hey, if you could feel my fucking thighs right now, hey, I'm plenty sticky. Don't even worry about that. I'm not cool, but I am sticky. I agree, though. And Natty Ice Life with the $5. Thoughts on Warren? I love Bernie, but his aggro fans make me want to kill myself. Warren is not nearly as good as Bernie, but Warren is infinitely better than, like, the other alternatives. So maybe we should just go with that, okay? I'll do a Warren stream sometime soon, okay? I promise. Mexaball Nation with the $2. Would you debate Sticks and Hammer 666? Yeah, absolutely. That fucking weasel? Abso-fucking-lutely. We'll do it on video cam too, so he can wear his favorite fucking leather jacket and no shirt. I'd love to. Christy, well, we'd have to have a subject. I don't want to just talk to the guy. Christy E with the $10. Could you give me a TLDR on the Contra drama? I came late. First of all, thanks for the $10. Second of all, basically, ContraPoints, deleted her Twitter account following what was essentially a massive dogpiling from people calling her problematic because she said that her interests are in respect to people sharing their pronouns, different from non-passing or from non-binary people. She said that she prefers like going stealth, as do a lot of older binary trans people, and for that reason, people in the left's constant obsession with like sharing their pronouns makes her uncomfortable. She was honestly and fairly sharing her experiences, and for that, people have characterized her as saying that non-binary people are hurting the left and non-binary people are invalid and their perspectives are invalid, rather than her just, well, sharing her experiences, which she has every right to do. Kairos Val with the $5. Peter Coffin has a few videos about how capitalism drives even leftist spaces into capitalistic mechanisms around social capitalism and cultivated identity. Check him out if not familiar. I'm familiar with Peter Coffin. People keep telling me that he's like me in some respects, but or is it they? I think he goes by any all, right? So I'll just go with he. Peter Coffin is yeah. I've heard a lot of good things about Peter Coffin, but I think he thinks I'm not a leftist, so fuck him. And Jin Omega with the $5. I'm a second-generation leftist, and I was gated out of the left for the longest time because of this hyper-wokeness you see in the left. Thanks for helping me claim my place in the fold. Of course, Jin Omega. We're all valid. Guys, listen. If you want to be a leftist, just don't like capitalism, advocate for something better, and be progressive. That's it. That's it. We literally live in a country run by white supremacists. We have so much ground to cover. We shouldn't be fighting over small ideological differences. Peter explicitly did not join in disowning you of your dirtbag leftist status? Okay, fair. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Maybe Peter Coffin's redeemable. I'll take it. And Philip Metzger with the $5. You should check out Mia Mulder's tweets about the Contra situation. I'll check it out for sure. Thank you, comrade. Very much appreciated. Non-authority with the $5. Shipped from an argument I'm having. What is your marvelous system that outperforms capitalism? Markets are capitalism, bro. I don't know what you're smoking. Kill me, please. Non-authority. Don't engage with these people. What the fuck are you doing? Jesus. Okay, hold on. Non-authority, you're killing yourself. Let me see. If there's anyone worth talking to on Discord, I'll talk to them. If not, I'll just, I'll dip really quick. Because I'm getting, like, hot and tired. And I was hoping to do a video game stream tonight. I need to save some energy. Alright. Let's give it a shot, huh? Oh, now everyone's piling in. Yep. Yo, what do you want? Alice G, what's up? Yo.
Hello?
Yo, what's up?
Vosh? Is that you? Okay.
That is Vosh. I am Vosh.
Okay. I wanted to talk about Black White and criticizing non-binary people.
Gotcha.
You can say
There is a slight problem, and then it sounds like you're talking to me from underwater.
Yeah, sorry, it's my my headphones and my mic shitty.
Gotcha. I'm terribly sorry. I love you, but I actually can't understand what the fuck you're saying.
My mic is bullshit, sorry.
No.
Can you hear me clearly now?
Kind of. Here, listen. Do you think we could put a pin on it for now?
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, wait, listen. Wait. Even if we're going to talk later, listen. Are you listening?
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
See ya.
See ya. I always feel bad when people want to talk, but like their mics aren't that good. Cause like, what am I supposed to say? Like, go spend $50 on like a good microphone? That's like, I don't know. Oh, I'm just gonna drop a few people and then I'm gonna dip. Now there are a fucking bunch of people in there. Hold on. Didn't Soul? I'm trying to get the people who were there like originally. Yo, Soul, you've got your shit muted. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
You sound crisp and clear, my friend. How you doing? Hit me up.
All right. Well, I saw your little title about the Yang Gang. I'm just wondering to know what's up before you got sidetracked.
Oh my god, my title is on Yang Gang?
Well, it was, or at least the announcement was about Yang Gang.
Oh. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I was going to do a video on it. I guess I'll probably put it back to tomorrow, but my basic argument is that the way in which Yang advocates for his freedom dividend, his UBI, is basically designed to funnel out welfare programs. The way in which that if you benefit from welfare programs, you get like that amount, that monetary value discounted from your monthly payment, and that the VAT tax that he proposes to play for it is functionally a regressive tax that will increase the price of commodities, which will disproportionately affect the poor. So both his UBI and the way he pays for his UBI will disproportionately impact in a negative way poor people, which I think is the literal opposite of what a UBI should be doing.
But I mean, just full out there. I'm not really a lefty. I just like this place because it's better than doing, right-leaning.
Hey, happy to have you, buddy. Don't worry.
But I won't go into it, but it's just wondering what it was. And I just figure,
Yeah?
a lot of this like left-leaning left people, it seems to me is just basically hats on ass retarded.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
But it's one of these things, like I've had this problem like throughout my life because I'm cisgendered, but I'm also Asian, and I'm a dude. There's like this intersexuality which I live in does not correlate very well with either liberals or even lefties, because a lot of people see me as a dude but see me as an Asian, and they don't know what the fuck to do with.
Can we
And
get a Asian dudes are valid in chat right now, please?
And so what I see happening with the left and what I've experienced is kind of running parallel. You see a lot of people that want to enter into the left-leaning side of things, but they just get bombarded by, people that just want to hit them with theory, calling for revolution.
True, 100%. No. I mean, I completely agree. I've used this before, but if you're like a kid, or like if you're just like getting into politics, and like say you're like upset with the system, you're probably gonna lean more radical, okay? And you've got like the right and the left coming at you, and when the right comes forward to like make their case, they're like, okay, especially if you're a white dude, but basically just if you're a dude these days, they'll be like, hey, listen, you are fucking sick. You have so much potential, but all of it is being squandered. The wrong people are in power, and there are these fucking SJWs who are constantly trying to shit on you for who you are, okay? These people, these fucking degens, are trying to hurt you and hold you back. Listen, just throw your weight behind us. You're fucking rad. You don't need to change who you are one bit. But if a leftist comes at you and tries to make the same pitch, they're going to be like, okay, listen up. So you've been ingrained with a lot of sort of inbuilt privileges that you probably haven't been able to check because you haven't really been familiar with it. Here, okay, listen. So a lot of what you do is kind of problematic. We're going to need to work on that. Here's some theory you can read. Basically, everyone in our community venerates theory that can need to get up in this reading, or at least get it distilled down to you in some way. And a lot of those things you like doing, those are actually kind of problematic. Those people you like on YouTube, that's a reactionary, don't you know? This is like unironically, like I fucking know. I wasn't young that long ago. I'm still young. I mean, I wasn't like in high school that long ago. That's pretty much how we make our pitches. It's pretty fucking gross. We're so fucking bad at outreach.
Yeah, and it's like full basically it's like in this primary I want Yang to go forward, like full on, like it's out there. I want Yang to go forward just because I think his plans would benefit me materially a lot better than anyone else.
Mhm.
Because I work in an industry that's not doing too well, or not is doing okay. Like I'll live a okay life with what I pay. So Bernie's side doesn't really affect me.
Mhm.
But what I see is that if I say these things, like in a leftist side, people just fucking try to ass fuck me with their goddamn femoid penises.
Fucking femoid penises. That's the worst
And
kind.
so it's a fine line that people have to walk. Like, yes, you can hate on the liberals all you want, but nevertheless, they are the bigger number compared to all the lefties in the United States. And so you have to build a coalition with them. And
I mean,
you can't
I would
drag.
make the argument that your assessment that Yang's policies would benefit you more than Bernie's is probably inaccurate. But I would try to do so hopefully by trying to convince you, like on a data-based art, like here, this position, this position. Moralizing doesn't really work for changing minds. It just doesn't. Trying to be like, oh, you support Yang? Ugh, crypto reactionaries out. Big oof, buddy. Like these are not. You don't convince anyone of anything.
And that's what I mean. It's like I'm fine with anyone like Bernie getting there. I don't want Warren, but I prefer, like, if anyone had to win, to be Bernie.
Got a problem with the femoids?
I don't. She penned a article about her economic patriotism thing,
Mhm.
and it just runs flat on. It doesn't correlate with reality, because she basically wrote that automation will not decrease jobs in the United States, which she cited a study, but she cited it wrong.
No, I saw it was super fucking stupid. Yeah, automation is a serious issue. I think Yang handles it in a trash way, but it is something people need to talk about. But we can agree she's a gilf, right?
Not my type.
Damn.
No?
Damn. I don't know. I'm thinking about moralizing you right now.
I mean, you could try, but it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
And but I just wanted to yell at your community and basically any lefty that's out there is like, you can't do these things. You have to. I mean, you have to take it from the right. They don't put their laundry out. No, we do it just because it makes us feel good, but you just can't. It makes for bad building of family.
No, I mean, I completely agree. And by the way, I appreciate you being in the community, because the existence of people who aren't leftists within my space is a metric test by which we can determine the efficacy with which we approach people who disagree with us. The ability to engage with people who disagree with you is the marker of a good rhetorician, of a good advocate, of a good activist. How good you are at, like, talking with people who already agree with you is the most meaningless, like, metric for determining one's, like, political worth imaginable. You know?
Yeah, and it's like, say, like, if you don't agree with Yang, that's fine, and you think his policies are trash, that's fine. But you should look at his community, like the people that he's bringing to him. It is beyond impressive for a dude that's basically never been in politics his entire life.
I will say I do have respect for his willingness to go on basically any program that'll have him. I don't mean that as a sly insult. When Bernie Sanders went on Joe Rogan's show, for example, a lot of hoity-toity leftists sneered at him for going on a podcast with millions of viewers, for the common man. But Bernie Sanders ended up changing a lot of minds. It's pretty fucking cool. So yeah, I agree. Outreach is vitally important. I'm gonna hit up one more person before I drop this meme, Marino. Do you have any final words for my chat?
Fucking stop eating each other, Jesus Christ.
Stop fucking eating each other. Cut the fucking cannibalism, you stupid piece of shit. Okay, thank you very much, Soul.
Yeah.
That was the most productive conversation I've ever had with a liberal. All right, we're doing one more. Who should I do? Who is here first? Hey, I love you too, cowboy. Let's go with Ellie. L? L. L. Oh, they left. Okay, we're not going with L then. How about Octave? You like that soy face? Where's the switch? My wife's boyfriend got me this. You know what I mean. We don't actually have a soy emote, which is... Oh, wait, yeah, we got the fucking nom. Can we get a nom in chat? Fucking Kana from, what's it called? Dragon Maid? So fucking cute. Ravioli, ravioli, do not lewd the dragon lolly. What about Octavia Valkyrie? That's a rad name. Octavia Cuckery. How you doing? Octavia Cuckery. Octavia Cuckery.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Yes?
Oh shit. Hey Bosh.
Howdy, what's up?
Nice to be on stream.
Yeah, happy to have you. Hit me up with your quick memes before I go, and probably shower to get the fucking sweat off me.
The quickest meme is Contra points did nothing wrong, and I think that it's extremely difficult as a trans woman who actually just started hormones recently.
Hold on, really quickly. I can fix your mic problems. You're using voice detection, not push to talk, correct?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me...
Yeah. User settings, voice and video, click off automatically determine input sensitivity, and then bring the threshold all the way down to the left to negative 100 decibels, and then your mic won't cut in and out at all.
Yes, sorry, I just fixed it.
There you go.
I had it fucked up. I'm in the middle of a Dota game.
No, not at all. Hit it up. Hit it up.
So yeah, I think the balance of trying to figure out, like, okay, I guess I can rephrase this as a question.
Mm-hmm.
As a gender abolitionist, what's your take on like trying to figure out the difference between, as a trans person, how visibly trans you should be? I guess, where do you figure out the line between what is personally, how to balance what you do personally for yourself versus like trying to be an advocate, I guess? Is it just like how much you can stand?
Yeah, I think that should be up to your comfort level. Like, I think that people should, generally speaking, if they are progressive or left-leaning, make an effort to bring that into their life to engage in some form of advocacy. But trans people are like numero uno shit upon, like 100%, you know? Like, they get more shit than anyone when it comes to advocacy. Like, Jesus fuck. I would rather be like black in the era of the fucking sundown towns, you know? know, than advocating for trans people in like a mixed space that isn't like hyper progressive. So if a trans person wants to stay stealth or just like shut the fuck up and try to survive, I'll never hold that against them. Not at all.
Yeah, that's the. I don't know. It's just it's interesting because like about the inherent politicization of being trans. You know, if you don't fully pass, I don't know. It's just very difficult to kind of navigate that.
Yeah, I mean, all identities are political by nature. A lot of people say, like, being trans isn't political. And I mean, being trans, well, I mean, it has to be. Gender is political. Cis people are political. It just depends on how they're treated as a political force. Cis people are political, but no one treats them politically. They're just assumed to be the default. I would never, like, fault a trans person for just wanting to fucking chill. For just fucking chill the fuck out, you know? And not, like, make themselves a target for reactionaries. I'm glad you agree with ContraPoints in this respect. Do you think a lot of people, the only like criticism that I've heard that I think is there's any meat behind it are people who have said that ContraPoints, by way of being a public figure, probably shouldn't say anything critical of groups more marginalized than herself if you interpret saying you have different interests as them as critical. Do you think that like people should shut the fuck up about their own personal experiences as a marginalized group if it contradicts the experiences of others?
Well, I saw one person's take on Twitter, something along the lines of like, a lot of what Contra talks about gender is like higher level conversation that like cis people aren't ready for, so to speak, you know? And she likes to get into the meat of things and kind of parse out these different ways of looking at it, which I think it does provide a more complete picture. And in the long term, that's where you need to go. But I think there is some validity to saying that like in the short term, especially when you're that big, it might be better to not get that deep into the weeds, you know? I don't know. I was one of the people who like really loved like even her like the aesthetic when it first came out because that one was super controversial, but I was like, no, this is really interesting, you know? But
I really like the
know,
aesthetic. Yeah.
And well, I think
oh sorry.
I think this was one thing that you were talking about before is that I don't remember if you were talking about it or not, but a lot of people start into the left with ContraPoints and then they kind of, as they develop more nuanced views, it is just like almost like traumatic to them to realize like, oh shit, I don't completely agree with this person on everything.
Yeah,
you know?
a lot of people hyper idealize figures. I've seen a lot of people saying that they've like grown past ContraPoints. I don't think that's true. They idealized ContraPoints and thought she was like a divine arbiter of all of the best political takes, and then they grew up into leftism a little bit, and from going from like year 0 to year 1 or year 2, and realized that it's much bigger than just ContraPoints, which of course it is. No one figure could holistically represent. I'm not all of leftism. I certainly fucking hope people in my community aren't limiting their entire exposure to this political and social movement to my fucking shit takes on stream. But a lot of people do that because that's just kind of how online fucking parasocial relationships work. So then they extrapolate a whole bunch of like really bad, unhealthy shit from that. And then when they distance themselves from that like toxic perception, they feel like they're growing up when what they're actually doing is being reasonable. You know?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Hey, listen. Hey, buddy. Hey.
What's up?
Hey. What's the name of the Baron Nashor in Dota?
The
big monster you get the big one on the map that either
Roshan.
team. Roshan?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you kill the fuck out of that dude and get some sick ass gold, okay?
Oh, thanks. I love you, Vosh.
I love you too, buddy.
Keep doing good work.
I try my best. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your game, okay?
Get better.
Hey, I'm like 2 days away from being healthy again. You have yourself a good one. Win that game. I'll move you out, I suppose. There we go. Just move her to a random channel. I don't know which one. It's really funny because I actually froze up for a second because when they said get better, I'm so used to people saying that and like, get better, you fucking reactionary. Like the woke scolds, be like, be better. That I didn't realize for a second they were talking about my physical well-being. No. Mia has gone off Twitter after calling out the Contra dog pile. Wow. Amazing. Somebody saying they support ContraPoints getting dogpiled to the point that they have to lock their Twitter. Wow. Damn, I sure am glad that the woke scolders are making leftism better by relentlessly dogpiling anyone who they disagree with. Only on the left. They never go after the right, only after the left. Only one comment, because it's a 3-minute-old tweet, but the main tweet Mia Mulder did I can't access anymore because they locked their account! Okay. Twitter is bad. Guys, it's not Twitter. This doesn't happen to the right. It's not just Twitter. Twitter makes it worse, but it's not just Twitter. It's the left. Anyway. To summarize, let's go after the last Donorinos. Sad Bad Boy 69 with the $5. Thank you. Just woke up to this. Sectarianism is a bad meme. The worst meme. And Posada's John with the $1. Unironically cancel the Asian guy for not supporting the fact that Warren is a gilf. Yeah, that was pretty fucked up. That was pretty fucked up. Whatever the case may be, this is a problem in the left. Just, here's a final message, okay? It's okay. Here, listen, guys. It's okay to disagree with people. It's okay to even get fucking angry at political figures online. That's fine, of course. No one's taking that away from you. It's time to critique. It's fine to call out shit takes. But everything that you do online has an impact. And as a consequentialist, I value I determine the morality of an action by its impact, by its consequence. And if the consequence of this performative takedown that exclusively affects the left, this process of relentlessly dogpiling, silencing discussion, gaslighting, and abusing people who disagree with your takes, of misrepresenting their positions and accusing them of being bigoted based on the straw men you've created, of constantly cannibalizing content creators who are advocating for our rights better than you ever could, if the consequence of that is hurting the left, it's immoral. When blacks were in chains, people who believed in equal rights and people who just wanted to free the slaves but thought blacks were inferior worked together. The people who wanted equal rights didn't cancel the other group, even though they were racist. They worked together. During the suffragist movement, when people who just wanted women to have the vote and people who thought women were equal to men disagreed with one another, they nonetheless worked together for a shared political goal. This has been the history of every single successful social movement in the history of the world. Every single one of them has. We have to work with people we disagree with. And what is in those cases the disagreement, whether or not black people are second-class citizens, subhuman to white people, such a substantial difference and they were able to work together? What is the difference here? That ContraPoints relentlessly advocates for trans and non-binary people, but sometimes she posts on Twitter saying that her interests are slightly different than non-binary people's, and people say that means she's invalidating the experiences of non-binary people, and that's all it takes to not work with someone? That's all it takes for me to be able to look up ContraPoints on Twitter and for me to see every time like her name is tagged, 50% of the time it's someone saying that they're done with ContraPoints because she hates non-binary people and she's every bit as much a bigot as a reactionary, that she'll be making PragerU videos sometime. I've seen that about me. I've seen in 6 months Radlib Vosh is going to be doing reactionary content. That's all it takes. These people are enemies of the left. Unquestionably. And I encourage you all to treat them that way. Tankies are not leftists. They're authoritarians with a fetish for the red flag. And these fucking woke scolders aren't leftists either, because everything they do hurts the left. Anyway, I'll probably be streaming tonight. Y'all have yourself a good one.